people. It is Thursday, the 19th of December. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And we are always hosted by the best people. At the moment, it's just me in here, me and Brent today. Well, we don't know. I didn't ask Brent, to be fair, before the cameras came on, so we're here now. But as always, my own royalty.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Do you think that I always know?
No, I know you don't know. I think that's why I just didn't ask. I think I thought about it, but then I knew what answer you're going to give me.
You find it weird that I don't look to find out? Sometimes.
No.
Oh.
No, there's only so much a man can do.
Amen and amen.
You know what I mean? There's only so much a man can do.
Was there traffic coming in today?
No, but the time I left, 'cause I had to stop to get petrol.
Mm.
Don't be lazy, kids. Just get the petrol the night before. I was thinking, I'll just get in the morning. So while I was deliberating, waking up, I'm finding it harder and harder to wake up these days. I'm so tired. And because I feel like no sleep is enough. That makes sense. Like, I think I need days to laze about. So I'm looking forward to... I just remember we went to cook this Christmas. I need days to laze about. Like, I need solid do nothing days.
Take me through the Christmas period cooking routine for you.
So
what
like,
does it involve?
3 days before, my mum was going to start bringing out what she's going to cook. The meats, the chickens, the fish. Cool. Then I would say there's certain things you can cook before. Cause I don't want to cook on Christmas Day. Like, I'd rather not. We've done that in the past, which is the origin, which is the what is it, the origin of my villain story? What is that saying? That's my villain origin.
Oh, the villain origin story.
Yes, that's it. Villain origin story. That's how we started cooking on actual Christmas Day, because I used to be burnt out. But anyway, so hopefully what's going to happen this year is 2 days before we can start cooking the things. So something like the F4, which is the spinach. Remember that time you went to Enish and you had pounded jam?
Yes.
Well, why'd you say like that?
I think Emmanuel just sent me a message and said, speak into the mic properly.
Imagine, you should be in here telling us to speak into the mic. Anyway, so yeah, that I feel like that we can cook maybe like 2 days before, maybe, yeah, or like a day before. The stews you can cook a day before. To be fair, if I have my way, I'm making everything's getting cooked the day before. The jollof rice, the fried rice, the F4, the moi moi, everything's getting cooked the day before. I don't want to lift a finger. So then Christmas Day, my church had a Christmas morning service. It's very, very short. So I don't know if I'm going to go to that. Did I go last year? I can't remember.
Morning service on Christmas Day?
Yeah, it's really sweet. It's the season and that. People really forget about Jesus, you know. But do you know, I find it so funny how, like, the world doesn't acknowledge, for the most, I said the world, right? Doesn't acknowledge Jesus. But we go by, obviously, Jesus' time. Like, the time we live in is counting since Jesus went back. But also, I find it interesting how, like, all religions who don't believe in Jesus acknowledge Christmas, if that makes sense. Interesting. I don't know, acknowledge Buddha's birthday.
All right, so I've been watching quite a few videos.
Yeah, you guys just show yesterday.
From this guy. You know, these young men are interesting. Because when the cameras came off, the young men that were in the room with me yesterday, letting me jet a whole set of rubbish, right? Because obviously I watch rubbish, I entertain rubbish, I have rubbish flying around in my head, obviously with good stuff too. But I watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And when the cameras came off now, I was hearing a whole set of rubbish from them. That's when it is they decided to open them out.
Do you open them out after the camera's gone?
Yeah.
And set you up.
First of all, Sally said...
I knew you were going to say Sally. I just knew Sally was involved.
I'm only going for him first because people would expect him to say silly things.
Okay, fair.
Even though he's such a genuine like soul.
Yeah.
Like when you're talking to him, whatever he says, doesn't matter if it sounds weird. He genuinely believes it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And he's not looking to
like antagonize or troll. Yeah.
Not at all. And he's a seeker, and an open-minded seeker. But anyway, enough about that. He told us that he has levitated before. Well, he said not really levitated. I've flown.
He's done what?
I said levitated.
So his feet, has risen, has like lifted off the ground.
All right, so he said it wasn't like that.
Was he lying down?
No. What do you mean?
Because you know sometimes like the ones in the horror films are like they're laying down
in the bed.
No, but their hands tend to be like that like I don't understand this pose, and then they lift off the bed like that.
Yeah, but normally it's something that's lifting them as opposed to them doing that
in
that position.
If Saleh was lifted, something was lifting him. I don't think it was Jesus either.
All right. So what, Jesus could walk on water, but none of his disciples.
His disciples did when he was there, but they didn't. Well, when Jesus left,
I call myself a disciple too.
That's great. I want to see you walk on water.
So basically, imagine, and he's 6 at this time, roughly. He says, imagine a 6-year-old standing on this couch. No, let me make it this one over here.
Yeah,
and the destination is your seat, your armchair. Yes. So he said. Bear in mind, without any propulsion systems, do you think a 6-year-old can make it?
No, you look crackhead. No, you can't.
What if he does a running jump?
No,
you
can't.
All right.
Just the distance between this. You know, like however much running jump you do, at some point in the air, you need to be doing this.
Yeah.
You ain't doing that with your feet and not landing.
Yeah. So bear in mind, this is what he used
to lift off
as an explanation as to why he's certain that it's happened, because no 6-year-old is supposed to be able to make that jump, right? So he said when he jumped, he felt himself kind of doing the Space Jam thing. And he just comfortably landed on the armchair. He said he's not.
And this is the distance.
Yes. He said he's not been able to replicate it since.
It never happened, you mug. Duh.
But I truly believe
he did it.
That he believes he did it.
Of course he believes he did it.
But I'm not even saying.
But children are liars.
But he's not lying at this point. He's not a child.
No, but he doesn't believe. No, but you know, like the same things you can tell yourself as a child, and then you grow up thinking, no, it's facts.
But look, do you believe that people can be possessed?
Yes.
Do you believe that wickedness can manifest in a physical form?
Yeah.
Do you believe that the devil can move things?
Yes.
So you do believe that things can happen to a physical person?
I don't know if the devil can move things.
Okay.
I feel like the devil uses people to move things.
As in people that are in physical realm, the
agents of the devil. I don't think that the devil will go and touch them and say, okay, yeah, you go move this thing. I think the devil can create a spirit of mischief in somebody and they can keep moving things.
Can this mischievous spirit, absent possessing somebody, shift something in the physical dimension?
I don't know about
this dimension that we're in.
I've never experienced that. I don't know.
So you don't believe that people can fly back home?
But that's because they can
teleport themselves, can be in one place.
No, but they're possessed by the devil, though. That's why they're able to do these things. So, because what I'm imagining you saying is, imagine that mic just moving.
Yes.
Nobody's moved it. So the devil hasn't used a physical person to move it.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what I don't know. I've never known about such things just moving like that.
Have you seen or heard?
No, actually, because the devil can possess things.
Well, if the devil can possess, and his money effing minions can possess animate objects.
Yes, actually, yeah.
Devil can.
Yeah, devil can. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Could drop into money effing pig. Could drop into a money effing.
That's exactly what I thought about.
Microphone.
Yeah, so he can. Yeah, so yeah, actually, I do believe that.
Cool. So he could have bloody had assistance.
He didn't.
Not that he had been possessed. they could have been beneath his feet like clouds.
Brett is doing this.
Like clouds. So I am never going to.
That's what Devil's doing.
I don't know what he was doing before
On
he
their
leapt.
little boy's feet.
I don't know what he was doing before he leapt.
Boy leapt, indeed.
I don't know what he was doing before he leapt.
10 leopards
But
leaping. Well done for
there
him.
is a world in which I would consider that that's what happened at age 6, and he can recount it.
I think our brain is very interesting. Is the brain an organ? It is.
Yeah.
I think our brain is a very interesting organ, and it can falsify reality.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we can hallucinate, right?
Exactly. And I think that he was heavily hallucinating at the time.
Well,
Maybe
fair
even
enough.
passive smoking weed or something.
Fair enough.
Because how can you, the same devils that was doing, why didn't they help you? Why didn't they help you when we wanted to replicate it?
Maybe because whatever he was doing at the time, he has abandoned that.
At 6? What was Sally doing at 6 years old?
Well, people play with Ouija boards at all sorts of ages.
To be fair, because I used to watch a lot of Nollywood films. I used to reenact. I'm really God's child, you know. God has really protected me from so much. Because Lord knows what I could have been doing. I was about to put some crazy shade, but no, I can't. I used to reenact like all the Babalawo scenes.
Excuse me?
Just like making potions and mixing this and like I found it so fascinating.
How were you mixing
Make
the
up like
potions?
my own little chants and stuff like that.
How were you mixing the potions?
Just a bit of sand, a bit of water.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, that
Were
kind
you-
of stuff.
Were you chanting?
I used to make up my own little songs.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is there a reason as to why it is that you were doing this?
I think it's just what I saw.
And why
in,
did
like,
you stop?
Jesus stopped me,
Maybe this
clearly.
is why you have such a connection to
Let me say it.
all right.
To Nigeria.
No, I wasn't gonna say that.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
I would never say something like that.
That's what I was like, let me say it.
Like maybe that's why it is you're such an empath. You
Because
can
in
tap into
potions,
people's
Babalawo
sadness
potions
and
with sand
stuff.
and water.
Yeah, man, you never
No, it's
know
not.
what you need to do in
No,
order
it's
to
not.
switch inside of you.
I was not praying to the gods. I was praying. No, I wasn't even praying to God, to be fair. I was literally just doing silly things as a child.
That is so
But I
funny.
don't think that's why I'm empathetic.
Well,
Empathy is of light. Darkness is more revenge vibe. If I was so revengeful, fair. That's more what the Babalawas would give me.
No,
That's what the Babalawas are for.
empathy.
They
is
go
something
there.
else.
If I say this person, I need to sort them out. They would have been sorted out. According to that.
You proper used to mix up sand and water and
Yeah, but then I did that. But then
And
at the
soil.
same time, I did that for like when I was playing house and stuff, and I was playing cooking.
yeah, because it's the same thing, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? There's just mixing things. Like as a child, you don't really know what you're doing. Really,
This is what he was saying. He didn't know how he managed to
he
do that.
didn't do that.
He tapped into something and he couldn't
He tapped into
can't
damn
remember
thing.
what he tapped into. He said that maybe it's something to do with the sound frequencies. Maybe he was making a noise at the time and he clocked that frequency
Do you know what it is?
and he was able to space jam.
I think children are liars, and after a while, when you tell yourself the same thing, you start to believe it. Even the Bible says that you lie
Adults are
so
liars
much.
too.
Huh?
Adults are liars.
Oh, adults are even worse liars. Adults are very stupid liars, as a matter of fact. But I think that when if you tell yourself something over and over and over and over again, you will believe it,
Mm.
and you will speak of it with such conviction that there's no way it doesn't seem true to you. That is one of those things. That's
All right, that was Sally. And then Emmanuel started saying that
what did Iman believe that Sally was jumping in Spider-Man?
Iman decides to believe what he wants to believe, right?
Okay.
So what I'm about to say, he believes this,
Okay,
but
go
yet
on.
he will look at what Sally did and call,
Gosh,
him.
Iman's about
goods.
to fly as well. What did he say?
So he's saying that every single UFO
Mm,
in history
mm.
is piloted by black men. And all those UFOs you're seeing, they were made on an island off of Japan by black men. And Margs now,
You're drain me. You know, just drain.
Margs now, but
That sounds like a wicked joke, and it sounds like a joke.
tell me something. Do you believe in things that other people find incredulous to believe in?
And what?
Like ridiculous to believe in?
I think some things are ridiculous, but I think sometimes some things I've never actually thought about myself. So I can't just dismiss it because it sounds ridiculous. Everything sounds ridiculous at some point. Like, every single thing that we do today at some point has sounded ridiculous. Do you get what I mean? Someone who's never eaten lamb, that would sound ridiculous to them. Like, what do you mean you're eating a sheep? Do you know what I mean? So things sound ridiculous, but some things are just so ridiculous. It doesn't matter if I've ever heard this before. This is just straight up foolishness. And I think Iman's one's hard to believe because he just always has to tie black people into everything. And I don't think black people are tied into everything. Because for someone who believes that, like, we're traditional in the way we live and stuff like that and uprooted and blah, blah, I just don't think that the forefathers in Africa were playing with UFOs. I just don't think that was their vibe.
Bear in mind, he believes this because, like, Louis Farrakhan said this.
Of course.
And then Louis Farrakhan spoke to Honorable Elijah Muhammad in a dream. And this is what he was
in a dream.
told. I think so, yeah. He went to sleep and then he saw.
Does Sir Farrakhan smoke?
I've never asked him any of that.
I mean, I'd be interested when it comes in to ask that.
But isn't believing in God something wild?
And that's why, again, that's another thing. People think that's ridiculous, and that's okay. I don't believe in other gods. I don't believe in other people's religions. I only believe in mine. So I understand when people think that I sound crazy. Fair.
When you say you don't believe in other religions, what do you mean?
I only believe my God exists.
All right, so let's make up a fictitious religion. Let's call it, the people are the Mantus,
okay,
right? And their God...
You came up with that way too quick. You've thought about this before.
No, I was going somewhere else. I was like, I can't say that. The Mantus, and their God is called Chisel.
Chisel. I
said Chisel, but let's change it to Chisel because that's too close to home. Chisel. Now,
big up Chisel.
Now, when you say you don't believe in other religions, just pretend this is another religion, right? And I'm guessing you're saying the thing that they worship doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying with all the other religions that currently exist, is what you're saying?
I'm saying I think it exists in their mind because they've created that.
Interesting. So it doesn't exist in our minds, Christians, because we've created it, but for them, their gods are non-existent and they've just imagined it.
Yeah, I think they've rewritten history, and they've rewritten history and they've tried to adapt what they like about the original God, the sovereign God, and then put a bit of their stuff in there. And it's like, okay, well, this is not going to be our thing now.
But these gods don't exist at all. They can't bestow any.
They don't. I don't believe they do.
All right. Question. You're a Bible-believing Christian, right?
I am a Bible-believing Christian.
In
Hallelujah.
the Bible,
yeah,
you had different gods.
Yeah.
And it's noted in the Bible.
Yeah.
Documented in the Bible. Recorded in the Bible, right? And you believe in the Bible.
Actually, maybe what I should say is, okay, do you know what? No, but I think I said that, though. I don't believe they're the true God. Actually, yeah. Okay, right. So they do exist, again, for the people that serve them.
Okay.
But they're not the true God. Because, yes, there is a God of thunder and God of lightning and all this stuff. But I don't believe that that's the God that orchestrates your life. And I don't believe that's the God that created you, actually. Right. That's what I should say.
Thank you. Clarification. So, Margs now, this is separate now. I've already done that.
I wonder what he's going to do.
He fully believes that the earth may be flat. Right?
As a flat earther?
He wouldn't call...
Loons for this a few years ago.
He wouldn't call himself a flat earther. Loons was cussing him for it.
Oh, yeah, I remember when
Loons believed the world
Loons said he was going on the support groups.
Yeah, on Facebook. Would you like to spend a week
with Loons?
In his life to see what he gets up to?
Yes. I think Loons is flipping funny. And the thing is, like, he's so funny, like, he's not trying to be funny. And I think those are the funniest people. He just exists. But his existence is funny. Like, his observation of the world is funny. I would love a show that just follows Loons and just sees what he, like, just his reaction to, like, just him being. Like, I think Loons is funny.
Is it Carl Pilkington?
Yes. Loons is like Carl Pilkington. Yes. Because Carl always has something to say about everything.
Yeah.
Like, Carl Pilkington's flipping hilarious. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
That would be. Do you remember? Do you remember that show? No, was it? No, it's not. Life's Too Short. Life's Too Short. No, I think there was a show that Ricky Gervais and Carl Pilkington had,
I remember it.
and they just sat at the table
Yeah.
and they just out loons. I would love that.
It's so funny that Ricky Gervais had a man like Carl in his life in the background
Yeah.
until he realized, wait a minute, this is
the money maker
Yeah,
here.
this is entertainment.
Because they had a
Let's
good
just
run.
turn the camera around.
Li-
Let's get
They
this.
had a good run. I remember that year that they had like 3 shows. You ever watch Life's Too Short?
Yeah. I don't know if I've watched. I
one with the
know
little
a
man?
show between both of them, and I watched a few episodes. I don't know if it's called that though.
Is it the one with the little man that's trying to make it in the industry? I think that's another show then. Because there was a run where they had a few shows, but there's one with this. If it was the one about a little man, you remember him?
I remember episodes.
Of the little man?
No, a show called Episodes, and
Okay.
David Brent.
Extras.
Sorry, Extras.
Yeah, Extras.
Extras.
Because that was technically like a spin-off of The Office. My mum had all the DVDs. My mum loves the Extras. That's a bag.
Extras is really good.
Extras is really
I like that type of
comedy.
Yeah.
I love like Ricky Gervais, yeah. But outside of it, I just can't listen to him. I don't listen to his comedy special because he's very, very blasphemous and it is disgusting. But when he writes his own comedy, that guy's flipping hilarious. But Carl, that's a funny man.
I reckon that a man like Sally could be a Carl in my life.
You think so?
I don't think I have a Carl
In your life?
currently. Like, who could I be talking to and just the way their brain works, analyzes things, processes things, their responses has you like, what the hell? And then you stop and,
That is
oh, wow, that's how you see the world. And I think I can get why you're saying this.
Yeah, I think that is
And
selling.
they're just looking at you like,
Okay, you bought it. and as soon as you say that, they forgot what it is. They even said that you've now come on board on.
oh, man.
But big up Loons, eh?
All right, sorry. So back in the boat. So
Yeah, Mars. Is a flat.
We've done that. I just thought it was very interesting when the
Yeah, they
cameras
kept
came
all
off. They
this.
started then
Absolutely.
spouting their this, that, and the next,
We
right?
got cooked for all these
But anyway,
things.
so normally Christmas Day starts when you sit down for the family
Yeah.
dinner, brunch / dinner type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you used to cook on the day,
Yeah.
early in the morning, like wake up early.
Babe, yeah. Basically. I mean, there's still some things you cooked the night before, but yeah, on the day.
All right.
And then like literally till afternoon when people start arriving.
All right.
People don't arrive anymore because of me. I did that. I'm so proud of myself for that.
So you've changed the culture.
I
in
changed the
your home.
culture.
Okay.
Yeah, I changed the culture of Christmas in our family. And it started becoming more intimate. And this year is the most intimate because my brother's not even coming. Because his family doing their own thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well,
You're welcome,
fair.
family.
Do you feel that you appreciate family more as you grow older and you decide the time in which it is that you spend with them,
Yeah, 100%.
as opposed to just following on tradition and doing the same
Yeah.
thing over and over again without any
Yeah.
processing
thoughts,
of,
yeah,
I need
just-
time away from you
Exactly.
and let me miss you.
I think I do. And I think also the older I got, I appreciated more intimate family, which is why I wanted to introduce that with Christmas. Like I love the extended family and stuff like that, but when I think about through the year,
Yeah.
it's just us that always deal with whatever it is that's going on with us. So I appreciate the intimacy of my mum, of my brother, of my sister-in-law,
Yeah.
my niece, my nephew, my sisters, and now my stepdad. Like I appreciate that intimacy.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think with family, you definitely need space, especially when you live together. Ciao. So now I like as well that as an adult, I can pick and choose what I attend and what I don't attend. That is the greatest thing about being an adult in an African household. Because like we do like wider family reunions, because like my family and the history behind my family and blah, blah, blah. But as an adult, I pick and choose if I want to go to that. And even if I do want to, the real freedom is driving. That freedom, that's the real freedom, because I get to arrive to events when I want to arrive and I'm leaving when I want to leave. If my mom's going to live with me, I get to give her rules and regulations and say, hey, we're not staying for longer than 3 hours. And when I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. Otherwise, you better book an Uber. And she's always like, well, I think I might as well drive myself. I'm like, yeah, I think you should. Ends up coming with me anyway. And she dates my rules. That is the freedom. But I think I like that when you can. I think I like those benefits of being an adult.
If one of your family members, man or woman, let's just start there, sits down Christmas time and tells the family around the table that they had just shot a video where they had slept with 100 people. What happens next?
Who's that? Sorry, y'all. If they said that,
Sorry.
Is that not? I thought it was Mark, you know. Yeah. So if they said they shot a video with 100 people, I think the family is more like, what's the thought process behind that?
That's how they would approach it.
I think it's more stunned. And then it's like, why did you do that? What was the reason? I think it's just questions of like, what was the thought process? At some point, my mom will start preaching though. At some point. No, any excuse, that woman's right there. At some point.
How would you perceive them?
I think it depends on the thought process.
As in, why do
you do it?
What could they say that changes your opinion and your feedback? What would they need to say to have you saying something other than what comes to your mind straight away?
I think, what comes to my mind is concern.
Okay.
Is everything all right? Like, why is that? Because I think even if it's a thing of money, it's like, why didn't you tell us? I don't know. Like, I don't think there's. I don't know if there's anything that will make me feel like, okay, I get why you did that. Like, I think I get why you did that eventually, but I don't think there's anything that will make me not think. Are you all right? My main thing is concern. Like, I'm not gonna slut shame or anything like that. I'm not in the culture of doing that. Which is like, why did you do that?
What does slut shame actually look like if it's not you saying you're concerned for them?
No, concern is like, do you have a pimp? Are you being trafficked? Like, that's concern. Like, are you safe? Are you all right?
So what's part of all of those options?
That's not slut shaming. Slut shaming is like, you're a dirty little hoe. Why did you do that?
So
not even why did you do that? It's like, it's like without wanting to hear the reasons why you did it, what thought process was, who these people were. It's just saying that was a very disgusting act. It's just literally damning you for what you did. That's slut shaming.
Without finding out the reason, that's where it qualifies for slut shaming?
No, because you can find out the reason, you can still slut shame.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be interested in slut shaming you. I just need to know if everything's all right at home.
Is it...
And if you're from this home,
that
look within.
That we title something slut shaming, is it one of those things that people say it just shuts down conversation immediately? People
would like to say that, but a lot of people slut shame.
What I'm saying is it
like the what was it?
Because even as I'm hearing you say that you would show concern, yeah. I'm thinking, but isn't that some form of you disagreeing with what they've done?
No, I want to find out why you did what you did. I mean, I will always disagree with a lot. I disagree with a lot of things because it's not how I will personally live my life. In this lifetime and in the next world God is going to create, I would not have slept with 100 men. I wouldn't even touch 50.
On one day, by the way. Touch 20. On one night. I'm not just going to spread out.
It's like that white girl?
Night. Yes.
She's trying to do 1,000 as well, that's sicko.
Yeah. But when you see how you just said that sicko.
Yeah, because she's sick.
This is the theme that I want to tap into. Because when I said 100, you didn't say that sicko.
Oh, I still think she's sick. Because that's my thing. Because if she said she had to do that for money, because life was down bad, there's medical bills to be like, whatever the case might be, it's like, okay, you were working. I don't agree with it because a lot of things that, like, me not agreeing with something and me not wanting to do something is not a factor. There's a lot of things in this what I don't do. Heck, I don't eat duck. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's a lot of things I wouldn't do. But I do think that's why my concern will be for my family member, because I do think if they just did it for vibes, I do think there's a screw loose. That's not me slut shaming you. That's me caring about your mental health.
All right. Let me pause you for a second and welcome Emmanuel.
Good morning, guys.
Oh my God, speaking of welcome, I met one of our listeners yesterday. His name's Welcome.
Oh, is it?
Remember the guy when we...
Oh, that calls up.
Excuse me?
Yes,
That
the
calls up.
therapist.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
What?
Yes, man.
Brady is so annoying.
He's one of my favorite callers, man. The one who
Remember?
called, he's a training therapist.
Yes, and you were like, we can't keep calling him training therapist. What's his name? His name's Welcome.
And he's got kids in private school, and he was.
Yes.
Stop her.
You don't remember?
He's stuck on
Stop
Welcome.
her.
He's stuck on the fact that I said his name. Speaking of Welcome, his name is Welcome.
Have you ever met somebody called Goodbye?
No, you don't want to say
You
it.
get
No,
on
that's
my
funny
nerves.
to you? That's funny to you?
You're annoying. That's
I'm
why.
not from a land where this is normal, so I've paused.
But it might
Give me
be
a
like-
second.
Leave it, man. You guys go around calling people hello.
So, I don't...
I think it might be like a traditional name or something. I don't know. I didn't ask. I should have asked. That was actually what I should
Are
have
you
asked.
sure his name
promise
is
you.
Welcome?
he
Yeah,
said it
because
on the show as well.
he said to me, my name is Welcome. I said, welcome. He goes, yeah, like,
Yeah.
welcome in. I said, oh. So lovely, though. Big up him.
Yeah, big him up, man. I was trying to remember his name when I was trying to do the poll for favorite
Oh, really?
callers.
Callers?
Yeah, and I just couldn't remember, and I couldn't remember the episode he called up in.
Yeah, he was sending me the education one. I said, sorry, but I said we talk a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
I always forget. And then he told me, I was like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Y'all are not... Y'all...
We're not reacting how you want us to react.
Y'all want to show me up again. And this is what happens
This is you,
sometimes.
This is all you this time.
I think I am showing enough not concern about what you just said, but awareness of what you just said. And I don't think y'all are. Like,
Yeah,
you're not
but-
just brushed over it like it's normal.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, it's a quote unquote unusual name. I don't want to say it's an unusual name because, again, I don't know if it's a cultural name. I don't know. I don't know if it's just pronounced Welcome, but it's not spelt Welcome. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
And
I don't want
that's
to be
what
just,
would rattle you.
It might be.
might, but might not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
In my head, I'm thinking it is. Because in Africa, yeah, a lot of our names.
Adele is Adele in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm trying to say? So sometimes, and Nigerian one is spelled with accents.
Mm. No, but in certain, like, obviously, in
You should
certain
ask them where it's from. Damn.
yeah, in certain African tribes, whatever, yeah, they got certain names that would mean something like
my gosh,
that,
yes,
but in
like
their
good
own
luck.
language. Exactly.
That's why I'm
Grace,
that's what I want to get
faith.
to. That's what I
Have
want
you
to
heard
get
names
to.
like that, though?
I've heard blessing.
Okay. Have you heard
I've
like
heard joy.
Have you heard like God is great?
I've heard praise. I've not heard praise.
I had a there was this twins I went to primary
I've
school
heard
with.
glory.
Yeah, Glory, yeah.
And hallelujah. No, I haven't heard hallelujah.
You have heard Hallelujah. Big Glow, Glorilla. Her name is Hallelujah. Her name is Glory Hallelujah.
There you go.
I told you
Stop.
about this.
That, the first name is what?
Glory.
Okay.
And then
stop
her
there.
middle name is Hallelujah.
No, but that's different.
No, it's not.
She doesn't go around saying my name is hallelujah.
Well, I knew it.
Oh, come on.
I knew her name was
Come on,
Hallelujah.
welcome is a
I
little
know
bit
someone called
different.
Hallelujah. No, for real.
No, like there's African countries, especially East Africans. Oh, they go in. And then within Nigeria is the Igbos. I remember these twins I went to school with actually. I wonder how they're doing. Went to primary school with. Their names was Favor and Faith. Faith and Favor.
There you go.
No, that can run. Both
barely.
of them can run.
That took me out.
But why can that one run?
Faith
welcome can't.
and favor.
Yeah,
because
and
I've
welcome
heard
can't,
it
yeah.
more times to get
Okay,
used to
that's
it.
that's.
I
what
have
it is.
never heard welcome.
Okay, maybe I think maybe we didn't react. To be fair, I met the guy yesterday, so I didn't have time. I'm not gonna react while no.
Yeah.
But I think also I'm not. It's not a thing for me because Africans do that a lot.
Yeah.
Like your name can be their favorite phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I want to Google that.
Why are you googling it, Emmanuel?
Yo.
Should we bring back slut shaming?
What?
What? When I say slut shaming, I mean shame. I just put the prefix in front of it.
I think don't bring back slut shaming, but I
Yeah.
think we should bring back shame.
All
I'm
right.
very pro
All right.
shame.
So
But
what is it? What is a slut? Trigger warning.
Don't trigger one nothing. You tell us what a slut is.
In my mind, I'm thinking maybe it's the terminology that just needs to change, because when someone is labeled something like a slut or quote unquote whore, then there are defense leagues come up and say, hey, just because somebody decides to be liberal, you guys are there looking to malign them.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is, though.
What?
You want to exercise your.
So it is the extent of.
That's what it is.
It's extreme liberalism. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, but they will say no. This is just my right to live.
And this is what the girl was saying, and this is the point I'm trying to, the discussion point, right?
Yeah.
So she said on an interview that her parents knew that she was liberal,
Yeah.
right? So
What's liberal?
And her parents are looking after her.
Oh.
Her mother's looking after her OnlyFans account or something like that,
Her
right?
mother's a manager.
So that's her madam.
That's her madam.
Well, if she's her manager,
Might as well be, innit?
right? It's like a modern day pimp. No,
It is
pimptress.
basically.
I mean, should we stop using the word
pimptress.
pimp also because it maligns somebody's
And also,
career plans?
And also, the pimp has control. She has control over herself.
It's a
innit?
career plans.
It was a career at one point, right?
It's a joke.
Is it
I
not
mean,
still a career?
It
Is active?
it still is, right?
Yeah,
But
100%.
it's looked at as
Conversation's not serious.
some sort of slavery or grooming. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you know why I called her a sicko as well? Because she doesn't know that she wants to do it, but she's upset. Because she said like she was zoning out, she was crying. Even when like she was talking about it, she cries, and you think that you should go for 1,000. But then now that I know her mom's a manager, it's a family of ill people.
And you are fine with saying that she's a sicko and her mother's ill, but other people might say you're slut shaming
I'm not, but that's the thing though. I'm not slut shaming her for sleeping with 100 men.
on the same night.
Don't matter whether it's one night or lifetime. I feel like it's
Facts.
for me. It's still 100 people ran through you. That is still nasty.
What did you just do?
1,000%.
Nothing, man.
Okay.
I'm a green investor. That's what I'm doing. Goddamn.
Yeah,
Diabolical.
men
work.
and women, by the way. So I don't know if you agree now.
And I did say
But-
that he wasn't here when I basically said the family member could be a man or a woman.
Yeah. But I think why I say that, I mean, to be fair, sicko is harsh because it's like calling people that are mentally ill crazy. But I say sicko because it's like, it just feels like she's doing it like, I feel like she's taking, I don't know, I feel like there's certain things that we shouldn't do in life because of the reality that other people suffer. There are many people who are, against their will, are being forced to have sex in very horrible ways. And I just think that I call her a sicko because you're basically making jest and making light of something that's an actual real problem for people. Do you know what I'm trying to say? That's why I can't respect it. Like I'm not. It's not me judging her for having sex. It's not me judging her for the number of men she's had sex with. I'm judging you because this is a real life thing where people are human trafficked, they're sex trafficked, and you are just because you feel like you're doing OnlyFans or whatever you think you're doing. You think it's just fun and games and it's something to take lightly. That's what I don't respect. And then when you then are recounting about how it was and you're talking about how, like, and you're crying because clearly it's something that affects you and then you say, oh, my next challenge is 1,000, you are sick. And now that I know your mum's involved too, your mum's sick. And I'm sure you got a daddy, your daddy's sick too. Because at what point then is nobody seeing that all these people need help? That's not a normal thing. That's not a life goal, Guinness Book of Record thing to try and break. That is sick. But I can't respect people that do things that makes real life circumstances, real life traumatic circumstances trivial. And that's what she's doing. She's trivializing sex trafficking and trivializing gang rape and stuff like that. I'm not going to subscribe to that. I don't care how much you want to support women. I'm not supporting that woman. I don't support all women. Some of y'all are dumb. So
there was a particular feminist, Emmanuel, that wrote an op-ed in a newspaper. I can't remember which one it was. That basically accused the men of taking advantage of her, and she suggested that they should be arrested.
Insane.
the men should be arrested.
Yes.
Insane.
No, they made them sign forms, and why would
Can
they?
you
Why should they
imagine?
be arrested?
And
Can
she
you
made an
imagine?
argument for it, you know.
Who did?
This particular
Of course she did.
feminist.
Told you I don't support all women.
All
You're dumb.
these people are insane. All these people are insane, man. So, some of these people, yeah, again, no one's perfect in it. But when you hear certain people talk, you have to look at other things in their life. And then everything starts to make sense.
Mm.
That's just the reality. Like, 100 men, and we're sitting here talking, well, not us, but people out there talking about, yeah, like, there's just, men and women are not the same, man. Like, don't get me wrong, 100 women at any one night is diabolical, and I don't understand what you're doing with your time. But, like, this, I don't know, this is just disgusting.
So, obviously, her body, her choice, right? That's the mantra,
Yeah, of course.
right? So, Emmanuel,
Mm.
a man doing the same on a night, isn't that a bit more wild than a woman? Because I don't know if it is you've ever used. Well, you have used it. So, can you do 100 on the night?
What?
You see?
Wait,
That's how I looked at myself.
wait. Can you actually survive 100 on one night.
What you just do?
I whispered.
Oh yeah, that means I can't hear you. But
Oh. I forgot you actually wear headphones in this piece.
Wait, so is that what you can't see on radio?
basically, you just mean if it was the other way around. You just mean if it was the other way around, basically, isn't it?
Yes, but a man can't do that.
A man can't.
No, you can't.
I heard.
Unless you enter like the club briefly and leave on each.
What are you talking about?
I don't know, man.
Men don't have the stamina for that. That's all I'm gonna say.
This is what I'm saying. After a while, like it just doesn't
After
work.
number 2,
But I think it's see what you just said. Either it doesn't work or it's just numb, innit? It's just like her.
Numb, as in numb and soft.
Maybe, or just I don't know. I have no idea, man. But this is why it's so sick.
Wouldn't you then look at him like a madman?
No, but this is why I think all these people have to use stuff. You have to use like the men will have to use like 20, I don't know, like 20 boxes of Viagra. The woman will have to use like Diddy's cases of lube
lubrication.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did hear a group talking about how the woman, after a while, she wouldn't be producing that particular moisture.
No chance.
Yeah. So she would have to use like external lubrication.
It's diabolical. Like all these things should show you something though. Like when we move away from nature, you find yourself in problems. You find yourself instead of her to be doing something more constructive with her life, she's out there doing this. But again, she has the right to do so. Like we all want to exercise our right, our freedom without hurting somebody. Let her do it. I just feel like people should be allowed to live and die by their decisions.
And then
that won't last long.
The same group basically said, I hope she got them to wear condoms because if she didn't, then those spiritual ties.
No, they had to.
And
the spiritual ties.
Is that?
Do they think latex stops?
Can you imagine?
Is that how it stops?
Latex stops. Oh, no, latex.
Goodness.
You know, equality in that. That stops spiritual ties.
Yeah.
You see, some people never make out the
hood. Because that will stop the spirits.
That will stop the spirit. Like, whoa, baby, no, guys, hang.
Oh my god.
Stand back. Fall back, y'all. There's a bit of latex in here. That's so dumb.
Oh man. Anyway.
But I think apparently they did though. I think they got them to detest someone.
I have stretched it enough for Imal to be here. So let's start on the headlines.
Crazy.
All right, I need to get the headlines up. But Brent, in the doc, if you don't mind, I put in the intro a clip because obviously you guys were talking about certain things when I wasn't here, innit?
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be good for the people to hear everybody, but not from me, but from the man himself.
Not the Farrakhan. Does he smoke, by the way?
What? Oh, I thought you meant, is there smoke?
Does he smoke weed?
Of course not. What are you talking about? The nation. No smoking, no drinking, upright life.
You drink?
This is not true.
So I think they're all doing what you do. That's what I think. Don't lie to yourselves. Oh dear. Actually, do I ever see you drink?
There you go.
These are the wicked machinations of the United States government.
Yes, the lights were described as moving rapidly and creating no sound.
And where's Doug?
Doug's investigating those. What else could... Okay, here's a cluster. Hold right there. What would cause that?
Well, it could, of course, be a vapor trail from an airplane, and I'm sure somebody would claim it's a UFO, but I would not say it's that. You should turn to that as the last possible explanation, and I suspect that others can come up with a good explanation in meteorology.
All right, I don't know. It's probably about 12 o'clock, and we probably light.
It's kind of like a greenish, red, it's just changing colors.
It could have been as well, but there were two separate incidents, and tonight what we saw had nothing to do with last night.
Hundreds of millions of dollars to identify just what and just who is in outer space.
They had watch parties all over the county, and every night out on the county roads, we've had hundreds of people out there sitting and watching.
Despite the skeptics and official denial, there are more and more sightings of UFOs, and with the help of sophisticated new instruments, more and more evidence confirming those sightings.
I don't care how much degree you have. You can't defeat what I have. All you can do is bear me witness.
Right. All right, so There you go, Brett, man. That's just a response to what you're saying about.
I don't know if it's a response. I mean, it just
No, it's
tells
just-
me why is you believe what you believe.
Yeah, but also, obviously, so you're not hearing it from me, innit? But also hearing it and seeing it.
Oh no, I
from,
remember
you know
the
what I mean?
first time you told me I went to check.
Okay,
Because
okay.
yeah. So I now know why you vehemently believe that the UFOs are connected to the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, it's one of the core teachings. It's been that way since the 1930s. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been there. But obviously, you're not necessarily hearing Malcolm and other people talking about these things on a day-to-day, you know what I'm saying? But it's, from the very beginning, it's been one of the core teachings.
But
And
I
that
didn't-
event, that day, for example, when the minister had that vision, September 17th, 1985, from then and then laying out the information via this press conference is when things started to be a bit more evident and present in the teachings a bit more.
Yes, thank you so much. But the black men operating it and also creating the crafts on an island off of Japan, there's very specific details there.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
That's also in the teachings. That's just in the teachings. That's basically what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught. That he was taught this by Master Farad Muhammad. That's literally the case. I believe it was one day he basically showed him. So, you know, when I say showed it, as in showed him the wheel in the sky. So basically, you know how there's UFO sightings. You know how, for example, some people connect it to Ezekiel's will, right? So for those, obviously, with the Bible and whatnot, Ezekiel, I can't remember what chapter. I believe between like Ezekiel 17 and 22 or something like that, yeah? Chapter 17 and 22. And it speaks about this wheel in the sky, right? And how some people obviously kind of describe it as almost like a cloud in the sky. And sometimes in the Bible, it speaks about it being a, what's the word? What's the word?
A disc?
No, there's something of fire. I'm trying to remember.
A chariot of fire?
Yes, but there's another term as well. But basically, there's various different ways of describing it. So this is the same thing. So remember, in the nation, they believe that a lot of the things in the Bible are prophetic things. You know what I'm saying? That there were visions from back then, but the reality of them being realized and them manifesting itself in a real physical way is happening in our day and time, innit? So what was spoken about in Ezekiel is what you're seeing right now manifesting.
Marlon, Lavondre, Andams have a question for you.
Oh,
What's the
question
question?
question to E-Man. Have the nation ever said things that aren't true or you believe not to be accurate?
I think like most things in life though, like it might be down to interpretation. I can't think of anything right now that you could say, oh, it's not true or not necessarily accurate. I think most belief systems have room for interpretation. You know what I'm saying? And how you see them. You know what I mean? And this is why I've said on the show many times that some things could be a bit of allegory. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it takes it away from being real. In fact, a lot of the time I think it makes it more real because it's able to be relevant in this time and also in times to come. So
I think he specifically wants to know about whether you scrutinize the nation's teachings.
I scrutinize everything. But some things, again, if I don't scrutinize, it's because maybe I don't care. I don't think it's fundamental to my belief in that particular thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't care enough because I don't think it's essential. You know what I mean? I think that's the case with like everybody in every belief system. You can ask somebody who's a Christian or ask someone who's a Muslim, say, oh, do you believe this particular thing? They'll tell you, yeah, I believe the entirety of the Quran, or I believe the entirety of the Torah, I believe the entirety of the Bible. But pick a particular thing and they'll be like, yeah, but, you know what I mean? Or they'll do something that's contrary to that. Everybody does it. It's because it's not really essential.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Black Rob asks, so what are the NOI stance on UFOs exactly?
That basically, don't get me wrong, yeah. There's because when you basically said that all of the UFOs are filled with black men in it. I'm not saying that. I believe that there are people who are trying to copy them as well. I believe that you've got almost like I believe you've even mentioned this before on the show about there being real UFOs, but also the government or governments trying to reverse engineer and create their own versions, right?
Yes.
Exactly. So I believe that's also the case. So the teaching is basically that the UAPs, there's one main UAP, I guess, which is called the mothership, the mothership or the mother plane, and which is about half a mile by half a mile in its dimensions. And it's almost like a city in the sky. So, you know, certain things about in the Bible, it talks about the New Jerusalem and all that sort of stuff. a lot of that, again, in teachings is basically saying, this is that. You know what I'm saying? This is the actual realization of that particular thing. Also, within that huge mother plane, it contains about 1,500 smaller planes. And those are the ones that come out. And every now and again, you might see a UAP doing certain things and darting and doing these things, stuff that you'd think, wait a minute. It's just, they don't observe the laws of physics. Those come out of this mother plane. And that's what you see. So you don't see the mother plane. You see those baby planes, for example, that come out of the mother plane.
All right, before we move into headlines, this is the last one. Aleister Crowley claims to have communed with demons and drew a picture of the demon he communed with called
Lam.
Okay, Lam. Look up what the Lam drawing looks like and tell me what you think.
They look like an alien or something. I remember seeing like a few documentaries about Aleister Crowley and stuff, innit?
This
It's
is
been many years. Yeah, there you go.
What they call the Greys or something.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into headlines.
Which is kind of what you kind of subscribe to somewhat, innit, bro? That you believe that those aliens are demons.
Kind of.
Yeah. Oh, well, entirely then.
Yeah. Remember when it is you told me about the whole NOI and the spacecraft and whatnot? It resonated with me differently. So then I drew dots. I'm like, there's a connection.
This guy.
Yeah.
I'm going to read the last question though. So are those demons physical as in they have blood
Physical
and flesh?
form?
Yeah.
Yep.
But they're
The
demons
Greys?
though. No, the demons that you're saying
The
that
Greys?
are piloting those ships.
Again, the demons, like the different definitions of demons, we kind of gotten used to seeing it as the what you call the fallen angels. But in scripture, past just the Bible, by the way, the accompanying books, like the book of Enoch, it talks about the different types of entities in the spiritual realm, and demons are more so the disembodied spirit of the Nephilim in certain things. That's what they call the demons. The angels are called fallen angels.
Okay.
You understand? So, So what I'm seeing here, the quote-unquote aliens, they could be 120% just projecting as this type of form. They don't necessarily have to actually live like this 24/7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Anyway,
let's get into the headlines.
Headlines. I've already pressed the button.
Okay. So our first headline, David Lammy is back in the news, man. For those who don't know, he's the Foreign Secretary, and he has condemned the Kremlin's gangster threat against the Times after the newspaper defended Ukraine's assassination of a senior Russian general in Moscow. Dmitry Medvedev, who was the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, on Wednesday launched an attack on the lousy jackals from the Times who cowardly hid behind an editorial. These are his words.
The day of.
Huh?
When I hear jackals, I now say the day of. Have you seen it?
Nope.
All right, cool.
And he called them accomplices of those who perpetrated crimes against Russia. He also said, makes sense. In that regard, be careful, because a lot of things happen in London. Can you imagine? Which is basically what they're saying, appearing to be a reference to the fatal poisoning of Alexander Litvinenko, you know, the defective Russian spy. Remember the guy?
Yes.
Yes. So almost like a threat to these people who wrote the article in the Telegraph, in the Times. Anyway, so in an editorial, the Times has called on the targeted killing of Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, who's the head of Russia's military, nuclear, and chemical weapons division, a legitimate act of defense by a threatened nation. Mr. Lammy said that Mr. Medvedev's threat smacks of desperation. Okay. This sentence don't make sense. Basically, he's just saying this man's reckless talk of nonsense, basically. Yeah, it just reeks of desperation. Long story short. Second headline, and Keir Starmer spoke to Donald Trump on Wednesday and reiterated the need for allies to stand together with Ukraine. A Down the Street spokesperson said in a statement that the call opened with the Prime Minister congratulating Mr. Trump on the recent appointments to his team. The statement went on, both agreed on their joint ambition to strengthen the close and historic relationship between the UK and the US. They look forward to working together on shared priorities, including international security and delivering economic growth and prosperity. Turning to global conflicts, the Prime Minister reiterated the need for allies to stand together with Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression and to ensure Ukraine is in the strongest possible position. On the Middle East, the Prime Minister underscored the need to work together to ensure peace and security in the nation. They agreed to keep in touch and look forward to seeing each other at the earliest opportunity. And our last headline, trigger one on this one, and the court has ruled that police can seize more than £2 million from controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan after they failed to pay tax on £21 million of revenue from their online businesses. So Devon and Cornwall Police's lawyers told the court that Andrew Tate had publicly declared that he had not paid tax in the UK and that his approach had been to ignore because in the end, they go away. The forces argued that the brothers' traceable earnings of £21 million between 2014 and 2022 seemingly came about despite the men having no significant qualifications, business experience, established companies, shares, intellectual property, or similar assets. Ruling in the forces' favour, the Chief Magistrate Paul Goldspring said that the brothers had given the court no evidence relating to tax payments, but had insisted through their lawyers that the movement of the cash had been legitimate business activity. In his written ruling, the judge said that he was satisfied that the brothers had engaged in long-standing, deliberate conduct in order to evade their tax. The force can seize £2,683,345 in total, and that includes cryptocurrency. And that's it for deadlines.
All right, let's get into what you're saying, topic of the day.
All right, people. So today's topic of the day is going to be about the cashless society. I feel like every day, obviously, we're moving closer to that, innit? Do you guys carry cash?
No, actually.
There you go.
I do like carrying cash though.
Same.
But I just don't.
Yeah, exactly. But I want Brett to play a video. And yeah, we'll just basically discuss it from there, man.
Tesco have just banned cash in 40 Tesco cafes. Think about what that really means. It starts with a few little cafes over here, and before you know it, you cannot pay for cash for anything. Oh, but it's so convenient because I can just tap my phone. It's also convenient to pay with a tenner and be given a fiver in change. And by the way, here's something that people don't say. You know, if I give you a tenner and you give me a fiver back, the bank make nothing on that. But every time I tap that, the bank make 5%. So imagine if they took the trillions in cash transactions, made them all digital, all of a sudden the banks are making trillion. Tesco have...
Yes. What's your thoughts on that, man?
To be honest, I missed the last part.
Ben, play again, please.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
After they said get the chain for a fiver, is that music they put behind it? It's so distracting.
Just banned cash in 40 Tesco cafes. Think about what that really means. It starts with a few little cafes over here, and before you know it, you cannot pay for cash for anything. Oh, but it's so convenient because I can just tap my phone. It's also convenient to pay with a tenner and be given a fiver in change. And by the way, here's something that people don't say. You know, if I give you a tenner and you give me a fiver back, the bank make nothing on that. But every time I tap that, the bank make 5%. So imagine if they took the trillions in cash transactions, made them all digital, all of a sudden the banks are making trillion. Tesco.
So you don't want the banks to make money?
Mm-hmm. Or at least not at your expense. Or the business's expense. Because they'll just pass that on to you.
But when you spend cash anyway, the banks at some point will make money. They might not make money from this exchange that I'm doing with you. But when you go to pay money in the bank, I have a bank account, all that stuff, the bank makes money anyway. So basically, we just don't want the bank to make more money than they're already making.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one of the reasons. Because why should they, basically? Why should they do that? And I guess he's basically saying that's one of the motivations for them doing so. But yeah, I want to ask you guys, what do you kind of prefer? Would you prefer your convenience or would you prefer to have money in your pocket? And what are the implications of this?
Do you know what, though? I feel like with modern society, I'm actually tired of trying to think about what the scam behind this could be. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like there's always a deeper meaning to things and there's always something that, there's always a plan. I find that so tiring. Like, I just want to live. I just want to live. I don't want to think that, oh my gosh, so 20 Tesco cafes are not allowing cash anymore. So what that means is then that in this many years, so how then do we prevent that? Because the reality is that cash is not available like that.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of physical banks. I don't know why we started Tesco Cafe. It started really when the banks started getting rid of the branches. Really and truly. When it all started moving online, that's when it really started. Okay, so that's happened. It's just like, are we meant to, as a society, meant to rise up and say, no, we must have cash? Like, I don't...
But is it better for you? So for example, somebody like Brent, somebody like myself, to be fair, a lot of people have VPNs. What's it stand for again, Brent? Virtual something network?
Private network.
Virtual private network, right? So no one can track your IP address, right?
Yeah.
People value that freedom, right? That is kind of thrown in the bin when you have a cashless society. No matter what you do, every single payment can be tracked. You may say, well, I'm not buying anything that's crazy, illegal or whatever, but it's still the fact that you can be monitored. Do you like that?
I find that interesting when people say that, though. To be honest, as someone that's been monitored by God, Boris Johnson monitoring me is not a problem. Like, because again, even with the whole monitored thing, does it... Because now we're all being monitored. We all get monitored a lot, but it doesn't actually have I can't say an impact it's having on my personal life in the things I like to do, in the things I like. Do you know what I mean? I haven't been banned from a certain area. None of that stuff. I feel like the monitoring is helpful. I feel like if you're not committing crimes, you should have no issues being monitored. But if anything, the monitoring helps because when people go missing and we can't find them, now we're asking for the CCTV that's hidden in the ATM machine to see they walk past there.
Yeah. But a lot of the time, these CCTV things or whatever that's hidden, that shouldn't be there, can't be used.
But my thing is though, that only time I will only have issue with being monitored if it's going to be used to fabricate lies on me or fabricate a crime like in Prison Break.
And that's something you can't control.
Yeah, but what's the chance of that?
So ask the guy in Prison Break.
It was made up. It's like a one in what, and what's the chance of me being that one? And if I'm the one God said, it's your time, girl. I find it interesting that human beings, I feel like human beings by nature, we just have this very defiant character.
Because we value freedom.
To do what?
Whatever you want.
Okay, wait. When it comes to that, whatever you want is scary. This why people are having 100 sex with 100 people in 24 hours and number 79 is happy he's next. That in itself, anyway, I think those people as well all need mental health evaluations. Every single person that was in that queue, from number 1 to 100. Crazy. And I know they're fine for the 100th spot. Crazy.
Diabolical.
But when people say that they value freedom, how is your freedom hindered right now by being monitored?
Just the fact
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sally. How are you, man?
First of all, don't you dare.
and good morning, Fonz.
Good morning, Fonz.
Sally tried to drop mic, you know, nigga. I'm here.
How's everyone? I'm very well, thank you. How's
we didn't ask how he was, you know. Sally.
How's everyone? Sally?
All good.
I'm
good,
very well. I'm very well.
Good.
Yes.
Sorry, before you speak, though, Sally. Before you speak out, Fonz. Good morning.
Morning, Fonz.
Good
How
morning.
are you?
I'm all right, thanks. How's everyone?
All good.
We're
all
good, thank you.
man.
Very well.
Good.
Sally, if you're not in the studio, you don't get to answer.
I'm there in spirit.
Fonz was on the call before you, Sally, so we have to hear his thoughts.
I can't believe Sally came in like, good morning.
What are your thoughts,
What's up, Fonz?
Yeah, I haven't really listened to much of the discussion this morning. I just jumped on and rang up straight away because yesterday I was trying to ring, but obviously I was on break at work. I didn't really get a chance. You get me? My man said ring back today, so I'm ringing back.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously yesterday was having the religious debate in it, and it's funny how not a debate, but having the religious discussion or whatever. But it's funny how as well today I got 666 in the title.
Yeah, it's all linked, man.
What does that 666 mean?
Please ask Emmanuel.
What does that mean?
The mark of the beast, man.
Which one?
Emmanuel. Which one is Emmanuel? If you don't mind me asking, is it the one that's on camera or off camera?
No, on camera.
Brent is the one off camera, and he sounds as cheeky as his name.
Okay.
Emmanuel.
Okay.
Sounds like Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Okay, Emmanuel. All right then. So
activist.
Okay, so is everyone in the studio Christian or believe in God then, I assume?
Brent and I could know. Brent and I are Christians.
I'm a Hindu.
Iman is a
Iman
Muslim.
excluded.
Brent is a liar. I'm a Christian. Iman does a bit of everything.
Everyone believes in God.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So someone said 666 is the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
Who was
That
it that
was
said
Iman.
that?
Me. Emmanuel.
What beast?
You said what beast?
Well, the beast that the Bible's speaking of, man.
Okay, so
yeah, go on.
So basically, what you're saying is the beast. Obviously, we're talking about Satan.
Yeah.
So that's true. You believe that that entity, that physical being exists?
I mean, yes, yeah.
Do you mean yeah?
Yeah.
Why? What was the pause about? What was that about?
The reason why is because when I have these type of discussions with people, I like to establish the common ground, because a lot of the time we may have different definitions about different things, innit? So, for example,
I agree.
Yeah, you know, I'm not necessarily somebody who believes the devil is maybe some spirit that you can't see somewhere or whatever it may be. I believe, for example, the devil in some ways is a physical manifestation. Like, you go out of your house, you see the devil all around you, because, you know what I mean? Certain devilish things have happened to certain people for years and years and years.
All right then. First, as far as that 666 Master of the Beast goes,
yeah,
that's the mark of man. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons.
Okay.
So technically, in a sense, you are right, because you just said it. Every time you come out of your house, you see the devil, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
The devil has only shown himself in the form of a human being. There's no other creature that we can point to on this planet that has committed evil acts. There's no creature we can point to other than a human being. There's also no creature we can point to that's committed good acts other than a human being. So you're right in a sense that when you step out of the house every day, you do see the devil. You also see God, another human being. Now, when I say that, I don't mean God as in God of some religion that can do this, that, and the other. I mean God in an aspect, in the sense of good.
Yeah.
Satan would just be evil. You see people doing good every day. We see people doing bad every day. So
wait, I've got a question. I've got a question about what you just said. You said it's only humans that commit evil, but I would beg to differ, because there are animals out there that okay, we understand that animals eat to they kill to eat. Majority of animals kill to eat, but that's not always the case. There are instances where animals kill just for fun, for sport. So
give me an example.
Give me an example. Hippos kill animals, and they don't necessarily eat them, and there are many more. Deers as well.
You know when hippo kills an animal, and it doesn't necessarily eat it. You just said that hippo kills for sport, yeah?
Well, off the top of my head, in fact, because I'm not with my phone right now, but I'm very sure we can find many of examples where and not just that, but killer whales as well. I know killer whales love to play with the animals that they kill as well. So, like, why is it that you're saying that it's only humans that kill for that do evil, commit evil anyway? Full stop.
Because what those things that you just described and examples that you just given, as far as I'm concerned, are not evil. You just said, that there are animals that kill for sport. There's no way you can quantify or prove that. You can say an animal's killed another animal and hasn't ate it. You don't know why that animal did that.
Unfortunately, my internet is not currently working, so you are very lucky. I'm unable to provide you a rebuttal on this instance.
And my rebuttal that I'm giving you isn't coming from the internet or anything like that. It's just coming from common sense and critical thinking. The fact of the matter is, I can prove. Obviously, we can track behaviors and come to conclusions as to why animals do things. But let's use the hippo as the example. Yeah, are hippos killing just for the sake of killing regularly? Is it something that hippos are doing regularly? Is it something that's happening majority of the time, or is it something that's happening as an anomaly or every now and then?
No, but that's not the statement that you made. You made that humans are the only ones that commit evil. Full stop.
And I stand by that, but I'm asking you a question. I stand by my statement. That goes. I stand by that. But I'm asking you a question about your statement.
Well, my statement, like I've said, I need to do my research before I can make my full-on statements. And you are standing here making your statements on your common sense, which I understand how we formulate our ideas on common sense. However, I fail to understand how you can have such pride in your stance and also say that you know that this is just from common sense and you're not doing any research into this.
All right then. Okay, cool, fair enough, no problem. When you do your research or whatever, you can come back to me on that. Do you think that animals have a concept of good and evil?
I think all animals have a concept of good and evil.
You think animals have a concept of good and evil based on what? What makes you come to that conclusion?
They have children.
Okay.
They have offspring, and when you have offspring and you're caring for another individual, then that allows you to think about things differently. You're no longer just thinking of yourself. So they will be thinking, okay, if I go and do this is going to be good for my child, good for my offspring, is going to give them a good chance of survival. If I go and do this, it's going to be bad for my child, bad for my offspring, bad for me, bad for my lineage, and it's going to give me a bad chance of survival.
Okay, cool, fair enough, no problem. So when an animal eats its animal that might be sick, you think it's eating that dead animal for the good of that baby that's come out a bit sick? Or is it doing it for the good of himself and the rest of the pride, or whatever it may be?
What are you asking? If an animal eats one of their sick offspring, their own?
Yeah, if it eats, because some animals eat their sick babies, some eat some of their babies if they have too much. But you know what? Yeah, put a knife in this year. I want to get back to this religious thing. I just remembered something. You're that Saleh geezer, innit?
That is I, and I am him.
All right, then, no problem. Yeah. You're kind of on a madness, so let me get back to the religious thing with these. I don't want to derail the conversation. I don't really want to derail the conversation still. But yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Now back to the religious thing, yeah. Sorry, name's in the studio. E-Man, is it? Sorry. Yeah. So obviously you're saying that you believe you're not a Christian, you said, innit? You just believe in God.
I guess I wouldn't box myself into a particular thing. Let's start there.
So why? So when you say you believe in God and you're not boxed into a particular thing, you're not boxed into Christianity, which God is it that you believe in?
The one true God.
Okay, and which religion talks about the one true God? Which one is it?
I don't see it as a religion speaks about the one true God. I see it as multiple religions and cultures.
Religions speak about. Also, basically, the cultures are speaking about the same God, but they're just giving different interpretations of that God.
Precisely, and sometimes, not all the time.
Based on their, but I get what you're saying. Based on their religion, their cultures, their practices, what they see around them, etc., etc.
Exactly. I believe that one true God, right, has revealed himself to different people at different times, depending on the advancement of those particular peoples.
Okay, you believe that based on the advancement of those people.
Yeah. So
during those times,
during
particular times. An example would be.
So for example, you might speak to a Christian and says, okay, cool, they believe in the one true God, Jehovah, Yahweh, for example, and say, okay, Abraham is the father of the Israelites, right? For example. But prior to Abraham, these same people, the people who through their lineage Abraham came forth, right? They didn't believe in that one God that Abraham believed in. Do you get where I'm coming from?
Okay.
But prior to Abraham, a good 1,000 years before that, you had somebody in Kemet talking about, I believe in one God. I call him the Aten. So he was the father of.
That was one. I forgot. Akhenaten. He's the one that brought together the one God.
Exactly.
Previously, before him, obviously there was different gods, etc.,
exactly.
etc.
So what I'm saying is they would have maybe learned that from there, essentially.
Okay. They would have learned it from people who came before them. Wow, you just said Abraham. Yeah, no one on this planet Earth can prove Abraham even existed. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no grave site. There's none of that. Yeah.
Then so if we can't prove someone existed, and everything points to the fact that they didn't exist, we can't really use that as a reference.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't
let's
say
talk
that.
about things we can prove then.
But I wouldn't
Let's
say
talk
that
about
things
things that we can prove. Go on.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that everything proves to him not existing though. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that.
No, listen, it's either and if you can, it's very simple. It's either until you can prove that he exists. And when I say prove, I don't mean bring forward evidence. I mean prove that he exists. Evidence ain't proof. So until you can prove that he exists, he doesn't exist.
So do you need to be the one that proves it for yourself, or is somebody providing proof for you adequate as well?
What would happen is people would bring their evidence, it would get reviewed, peer reviewed, all of these different things, and then that's when you would come to the thingy. I myself, I would have to research, read the evidence that's put forward, etc., etc. Not only the evidence of that one person. Let's say, for example, you, E-Man, bring forward 5 pieces of evidence for Abraham's existence, I'd have to read through your evidence that you've brought forward, cross-reference it with other people who might also believe that he exists, and then I'd have to then go and look into history, because you're saying he exists. So if he existed at a particular time, and the things that you're going to bring me of evidence of him existing is going to be behaviors, things that might have happened in his life. So then I would have to go back to history and look for those same things being spoken about from people who aren't attached to Abraham, who aren't, like, there's no conflict of interest then.
It's nice to see.
Information looking at.
It's nice to see you've now seen the importance of research.
Listen, Sally. You know when we was talking about the animal thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I said I'm talking about my common sense and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
That's because we're talking about animals. I don't research animals. Now, as far as this goes, I research. Just telling you something. I research this. So let me go back to this, because you're saying it's nice to see that I know the importance of research. The fact that you think that I didn't in the first place already tells me that you're dismissive of everything that I've said. So please let me get back to the conversation.
I'm dismissive of everything that you've said, because for someone who is
listen, that's fine. That's fine. Can I get back to the conversation, please? I don't want it to be derailed.
And lead the debates on just their vibes.
I'm having a conversation with E-Man. I'm not having a debate with E-Man. I'm having a conversation with him. I can't have a debate over a phone call. I can't have a debate over a phone call because I can't present any evidence to him. He can't present any evidence over a phone call.
Guys, let's
I've just muted both of you. Sally, you need to show some respect to the person that was talking. I know that when it is the black women were on your ass the other day, you complained about them talking over you and not letting you finish. So please extend that same grace to this young man, especially seeing as it's the first time he's called in. You know the etiquette here already, Sally. Thank you very much. Love you.
All right then, like I was just saying, but let's go to some things that we can prove and that are historically proven. For one, you're familiar with the Greek mythology, ain't it?
Somewhat.
Okay, cool. So Greek mythology predates the Bible scriptures, etc., yeah.
Okay,
that's a proven fact.
Okay.
Homer's Odyssey, etc., etc. It predates the Bible.
Okay.
So Pandora is a Greek mythology, almost identical to the Eve story. Then we've got flipping Noah's Ark. There's a couple stories that predate that. What's the Greek? Deucalion. I want to say Deucalion. That's the Greek story about the flood. Then you've got the Chinese story about the flood, and we've got the Hindu story about the flood. Those predate the Bible.
Well, when you say predate the Bible, what do you mean by predate the Bible?
I mean predate. When I say predate the Bible, I mean predate any biblical manuscripts.
Okay. What does that mean though? Why is that significant?
What do I mean by it's significant? Because the oldest Bible manuscript we've got is the Codex Vaticanus. That's not a complete one. That's like the shards. And then you got the Codex Sinaiticus. That's the oldest complete one that we have. Yep. They're also written in Greek.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
they're also written in Greek.
But you're talking about complete manuscripts, right? So if you wanted to go, exactly. Why does that matter though? Because the Bible being codified.
Like I said, there's also some that isn't complete, like the Codex Sinaiticus or whatever it is.
And the Septuagint as well.
That's not complete. Yeah, and the Septuagint, they're not complete, but they're the oldest ones that we've got.
Yes.
these Greek myth stories predate those, are older than those.
Yep.
Homer's writing, etc., is older than those. So if I've got one book that tells a story from 100 years ago, and then another story is written today that's almost identical to that story that was written 100 years ago, 9 times out of 10, the new story took inspiration or etc. from the old story. Would that be far-fetched?
It wouldn't be far-fetched, but at the same time, I believe that certain things, inspiration can spring up in 2 different places without there being.
I use inspiration to give a bit of grace. It's not inspiration, really and truly.
Obviously, you see it as plagiarism.
It's a copy.
Yeah, you see it as plagiarism.
No, it's not even so much plagiarism, because why I say it's not plagiarism, because it's a process. They're doing what they're doing for a reason. It's the same people doing it, so that's why I wouldn't call it plagiarism.
Okay.
That's why I wouldn't call it plagiarism. So that's one thing that we can approve. That's a fact. Those things predate the Bible text, and the Bible text is almost identical to those things that it's predating.
No, but you said the Bible text is almost identical. The Bible's not identical. You may be talking about one particular story, but
I'm on about those stories. Yeah. That's what I mean. Those stories. Obviously, the Bible and those things aren't going to be identical because it's 2 different belief systems.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be identical. But what I'm saying is that Bible took those stories from Greek mythology is basically what I'm saying.
I hear what you're
Obviously,
saying.
The 2 things are,
I hear what you're saying, but I don't necessarily believe just because one came before the other, it was taken from there.
No. Listen, anything can be possible, but what I'm saying is that's what it points to.
Not necessarily. Okay, put it this way. Yeah. Let's just
All
say.
right,
Let's just say.
Give me a different thing that it points to.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's just say I'm older than you by 10 years. Yeah.
No. Don't give me an example. Give me something different that the Bible, mimicking Greek mythology, points to. Right, what else does it point to?
I'll come back there. First thing is, like I said, let's just say I'm 10 years older than you. We can both learn about particular things in school, right? But you could come out of school, go to university. I've done university 10 years before, showed interest in other things, right? The things that matter to me, that's relevant, right? Because at the end of the day, everything's about resources, right? And I'm channeling my resources to the things that matter to me. But then you could write about the conflict in Iraq, for example, before me, yeah? But just because you wrote about it before me and I've written about it 20 years after you, doesn't mean I copied that story from you. It doesn't mean that at all. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. It could mean you know about the same story and just written about it a couple years later.
Thank you very much. That's exactly what it could mean. Right?
Okay. All right, then. Now let's apply that to the Bible.
Yes.
Let's apply that to this Greek and this Bible thing, yeah?
Let's do that.
So what are you saying that basically, when you read the Bible and people read these Noah stories, they believe that story. They don't read it as an interpretation of another true story.
Yeah, but
they read it as
it depends on who you're talking
that
to.
Story. So
it depends on who you're talking to. Because some people are.
There's a lot, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing as well with the Bible. There's a lot of depends. There shouldn't be.
That's with everybody.
If you're following the Bible and reading the Bible, no, I know, and that's because subconsciously, you know that it's not true. Now, I want to kind of stick on things that are true.
Right,
subconsciously, you know what ain't true? That's why every day we all sin, because fact of the matter is, if I knew that the things that I'm going to do is going to cause me to burn in hell for the eternity, there's no way I would do it. There's no way you would do it. There's no way any of us would do it. But subconsciously, we know. Now, I used to be in the church and this, that, and the other. Like I've said before in the chat, my auntie held one of the highest positions in the church in England, Rose Wilkins, at Queen's weddings, all of these different things. So it's not something that I'm not familiar with, and the information and all of that with the Bible, because I once believed all of the same things. You know what I'm trying to say? So when I'm talking about it, I don't want to come across like adversarial, like we're going against each other kind of thing. That's why I was kind of the way I was with that Saleh geezer. But anyway, back to staying on topic and things like that. Again, in the Bible, I'm just saying things. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything, to change their belief or anything. I just want people to do critical research, because that's what you have to do. Reading something, Googling something ain't critical research. For example, the other day, Black RHOP mentioned Josephus.
Yes.
And it's been proven that Josephus's writings were plagiarized. Josephus was also meant to be possibly a writing name. You know, when someone writes in a name that isn't theirs, like a rapper's a writing name. So yeah. So if that was his writing name, then the question also becomes, this is another question that's being asked in the academia world, is was he even real? But one thing we do know for a fact is that his work was copied from someone else that copied it. That's one thing that's been proven. And the next thing is, in the Bible world, Christian world, this is a subject, Christianity, religion, etc. It's the most debated topic on the planet.
What is?
Facts and truth don't get debate. Religion, whether it's true, whether it's false. In, you know, like in the scholar world, religious world, archaeology, all of these different things, it's like a big thing that they debate. And naturally so, because a lot of people have based their life on it, etc., etc. So, but the thing is, after all these years, facts don't get debated. But I need to run back in because my break's about to finish. But I just want to say certain things here that people can go and look up themselves and research, whatever. In the Bible, it says Nebuchadnezzar sacked the city of Tyre, etc., etc. When we go to real history, it was actually Alexander the Great. When we go to real history, let me bring my phone again.
You know what the thing is, and this is what I was saying before. I feel like certain things are allegory, some things are historically accurate, but some things are anachronisms as well. So things are taken out of time, right, for a reason, though. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that makes something fake or makes it less true. I believe that's why myths work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking about
the Bible,
I'm talking about my personal belief, though.
The Bible is the greatest. Yeah, that's again personal belief, but again with this thing, it can't be a personal beliefs thing. But it's either it's true or it ain't.
No, but everything.
No, you should I tell you why it can't be, because well, you're right, because that's why they put faith in it. If it was truth and it was all facts, this, that, and the other, faith wouldn't even be needed. It wouldn't even be needed. That's why it can be left to interpretation, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. That again should be a red flag and show you how wishy-washy it is. But yeah, go research. Alexander was the one that actually sacked the city of Tyre. The King James's Bible that was published, I think, I want to say 1411. It was 14 something anyway, yeah. Black people were already in slavery. 16. Black people were already in slavery. So him writing about yokes around the necks and this, that, and the other, one, can't be a prophecy if you're writing about something that's currently happening. Two, when you go to the
that's not true. That's not true.
Yeah. If I'm writing in a book,
we need to have a day. We need to have a day where you can call up, and we can dedicate this.
That's true.
Because there's too many things you said that I need to correct, you know.
But think about this, though. If
go on.
Let's say, for example, black people have been flying from Africa to China for the last 10 years,
Okay.
And then I write down in a book that black people will be flown from Africa to China, Now, I put that book in a part of the world where people don't know that black people have been flying to China for the past 10 years. They now come across this information. They see black people in China. How did black people get to China? They read this book, he was right all along. But they don't know that black people have been flying to China for the past 10 years. That book, that's not prophecy.
Are you
Furthermore, when you go to the book that it was translated from, in that bit, it doesn't actually say the same thing in the previous translation. Before the King James Bible in England, there was 16 Bibles that came before him. King James, have you heard of Francis Bacon?
Yeah.
Francis Bacon, you know that he's the one that wrote the Bible and coded it, innit?
But he didn't write it, though. He didn't write it.
Who wrote it? King James?
No, King James definitely didn't. He was just the one who commissioned it.
Exactly. But like I just said, Francis Bacon. I'm not saying Francis Bacon sat down and written from start to finish.
Okay.
I'm saying he coded it, the meaning, the structure, how things are put in place, etc. Yeah. He's the one that coded it. It was also recoded in the 18th century because they were saying that there was too much exposed in there, so they recoded it in the 18th century. I forgot what exact date in the 18th century that was.
We need a day, when you've got the time where we can talk properly. Because I'm gonna pick off so many different things, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're definitely right.
It might also be because you're in a rush, innit? So you're saying certain things quite quickly.
Yeah. I'm just saying it and trying to rush off and not whatnot. But yeah, fucking. And you said obviously you know who where's my car key? You know who Francis Bacon was. So I'm assuming that you also know that he was a top Mason as well.
Yeah, but what does that mean?
No. I'm not saying it means anything because, but no. Shall I tell you what it means? I'm asking you first. You know that, innit? And you're saying, yeah.
All these guys are Masons. To be a Mason, you've got to believe in God. That's the first requirement.
No. All right, then safe. But first, you have to know what the Masons believe.
Yes.
I'm not saying that does that mean you can't believe in God?
No, but you
because
have
there's
to believe in
Masons that
God.
are Christians.
Exactly.
No. You think they have to believe in God.
All right, cool.
Does he not believe in God?
What they're saying is their belief in God. And when they say they believe in God, the God they're talking about, the God you or Christians are talking about, two different things.
All right. Hey, when you got time, we're going to have this talk, man.
All right, then say no more,
appreciate
brother.
you calling,
Respect.
man.
Big up everyone on the panel, everyone in the chat as well, man. Respect, yeah?
Thank you very much.
Take care, yeah?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, Sally.
Yes.
Talk
yes,
to us,
yes. Okay. So
I appreciate calls
now
like that, you know.
Yeah,
'Cause
100%.
Oh, someone hang this up for me. I don't even know how to hang up this.
Alexander the Great to check afterwards. And I checked out.
Dope.
This show is so interesting. Just as a concept. As a concept and what we're doing here.
Go on, Sally.
Yes, so I was calling in to speak about the control, the cashless society.
Yes.
Because I think it's quite dangerous the direction that we're going in. Although at the same time, it's unavoidable. But yeah,
Can you be
I think
professional, please?
It's definitely
gather
unavoidable.
yourself?
Sorry, I thought it was
Yourself?
Wednesday. My bad.
Sorry, Sally.
Sorry, Sally.
No, it's
my
fine.
bad.
I think it's definitely unavoidable. So, like, Esther, you were saying that you don't see the problem in the government, like Boris Johnson monitoring you because God monitors you. But the problem in that is that humans are not God.
That was a light joke, Sally. No.
But yeah.
No, that was like I said. I don't have a problem with it because it doesn't. It's not an infringement on my freedom. That's more my point.
It's as in I see where you're coming from, and I think that is where.
Yo, someone hang me up, man.
Let's see if I could pick him up.
TDA audience never change.
All right, I've moved him to the audience.
Okay, but yeah,
Sorry,
I think
Sally.
that's where it's fine. That's where the problem is because the governments will bank on the fact that people will think that I'm not doing anything wrong anyway. But that's in this current time. But once they implement things like this, then now they can start changing the goalposts. Just like this is something that happens every single day in almost every part of government. Okay, these electric cars. What did they tell us first? You go, you buy an electric car, you're going to get this tax deduct, you're not going to pay this, you're not going to pay that. And now what's happening? Slowly. Oh, yeah. Oh, no, sorry. Actually, you, Les. Oh, yeah. You might as well. Oh, we've set it up now.
Yeah, but you don't hold the government accountable for the promises they make you, though. You think that for the French government can do that? You promise people that if they get electric cars, they're not going to pay taxes. They're try to introduce taxes.
We're both
there will be no cars
in the UK
Paris.
together. It's we. It's we. It's not you.
I haven't got an electric car.
This is something.
No, but the government says. But in you saying the freedom thing, I need to know, how does being watched right now infringe on your freedom?
What do you mean? Like with any possible thing there is. For example, okay, look at all these protests that are going on now. Yeah. With all this, if they've got complete control over your bank account and the way you spend your money, every single transaction that you do, they could make it so that you can't even take the bus or train or even buy petrol to go anywhere. They said, "Oh yeah, no, he's on the list. We think he believes in feminism. Don't allow him to go anywhere. Shut down his accounts. Whatever it might be." But this is just
right now.
No, but this is what we're moving towards.
This is what you're assuming we're moving towards. But I'm asking you how right now, how being watched infringes on your freedom, because that's what I was speaking to. That right now, I'm good.
And
it makes no difference.
I am saying, we are good right now, but it only infringes on your freedom depending on the person who has the power. And like we have elections in this country every 4 years, so we believe. Like the person who has the power can change at any point. Like look at even in history. Like, for example, if we had an initiative like this in time, well, not we, but if there was an initiative like this in time of the Nazi, when the Nazis were in power, think about how that could have had an effect on the people in that nation. And not just that, but like similarly right now in Ukraine, but all these things, like wars can happen at any time. Not even just that, but then this opens us up to exposure, because now if the system gets hacked, then what now? It's like okay, fair enough. I see why people think, oh, it's not that deep, but the thing is, it could be the downside is it could be very, very deep, extremely deep.
Question:
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there's anything that can be done about that?
No, but yes. And I think the yes is XRP.
Yes as well. What did you say?
It's about crypto.
So you don't want to wait. You want to carry
money
cash?
Up, your money up.
Wait a minute. You want to carry cash because you want to carry cash, and your solution to being able to carry cash is to do crypto.
No, I would prefer for us to carry cash, but I understand that that's not going to be the case. So I think it's unavoidable. So the only way to avoid it, or to beat it, or to mitigate the downside is to join them. If you can't beat them, join them. Get in there, get your money up, not your funny up. That's it.
So this is why I have the stance that I have, because like I said I don't know if you heard that part of the show where I said to Eman that for me, I find it draining that whenever, like, the way human beings live, we're always trying to gauge how it is we're going to get caught out in the next 20 years and how this rule now or this thing now is going to, like, what it means for 20 years time. So the Tesco cafes are saying they no longer, some of them are saying they no longer accept cash. And so now we've got to sit down and think about what could possibly happen in 50 years time, 20 years time. But there is nothing that we can do to stop that, though. There's nothing we can do to stop the world going digital. The world is already digital. We all have phones. You're currently on Discord, currently watching us on YouTube. When anybody want to asks for something, when you were having the conversation with Fonz, you said, "Oh, I haven't got my internet's not working right now." We are already dependent on these things. It is unavoidable. So unless anyone's going to move to a society where they don't use these things at all, if you're going to remain in the West, this is fall in line. So that's why I don't.
What I'm saying,
for me,
what I'm saying is,
wait, hold on.
Sorry.
All the whole cameras thing and being watched, blah, blah, it doesn't infringe on my freedom. Right now, if in the future they make it a thing where I can't speak out against things that I'm passionate about, then it will infringe on my freedom. But as of right now, I'm not going to be fighting a war and fighting fights trying to unban digital, Apple Pay, and whatever else. To what end? I'm a very to what end kind of person. I don't believe in wasting my energy because I've got a lot of it going around. To what end?
There is a saying. I'm going to butcher it, but it's more of a concept, and I definitely heard it from. I think it was a Jew from. Well, I didn't hear it from.
Oh no, it's not the whole. They attacked my brother and I didn't say anything.
Yes,
then
that's the one.
Oh please, Saleh.
That's the one.
Please.
That's it. No,
tuck it away. Because you're not saying anything. I asked you what the solution is. You told me you're going to crypto.
Wait,
your solution to the world going digital is to go digital with them. Is to go underground digital. You are in the analogy you're about to give me.
Wait. Let me explain myself. Yes, it is to go digital. It's to go digital to a point where, like, literally increase your wealth, because then you can afford to leave areas like this when they start imposing such threats. Like, it's that simple.
So you're going to go to
because at the end of the day, by the time they say, okay, now this tomorrow, just like how they sprung lockdown on us, by the time they wake up and one day they just say, okay, yeah, that's it, we've got full control over your financial assets, everything, then now it's too late. So it's like, I understand what you're saying, and especially when you say that in this day and age, there's too many things to worry about, too many things to think about. I understand and I agree with you that yes, that's the case. And I think that has been done by design. It is literally so that people feel exactly like how you're feeling, and they say, you know what, there's too much out there. Let me just not care about anything. And then people just walk through life.
Do you know what I find interesting about this? The reason why I can't take this conversation, and not because not because I'm trying to be disrespectful, I can't take this conversation seriously because your solution, like, I'm being criticized for thinking the way I'm thinking, right? That I'm just like, I don't think there's a point. However, though, you also don't think that it's something that we can beat. Your solution to this is if you can't beat them. No, wait. Let me finish my sentence. Your solution to this is if you can't beat them, join them. That's what you said.
I do think it's something
How does this then move anybody forward with then reverting back to having cash? You're already in the system. I don't understand, because if I was having this conversation with somebody who doesn't even know this podcast exists, who doesn't have mobile phones, who doesn't do doesn't do these things, and I know a couple people like that who they don't have social media, they don't use smartphones, they don't have bank accounts. This is how they live. I can take the conversation seriously. But if you're somebody who's already in here, living in this world that you're saying is a setup, and your response to this setup is to set yourself up but feel like you have freedom because you are the one who's then choosing to go into crypto, how is this, like, what are we doing here? This is a very pointless conversation.
But because with power, it's not just crypto necessarily, it is wealth. Because with wealth, you'll be able to afford yourself certain luxuries, such as you could go and start investing in actually building a community, a society for yourself outside of the reach of what these government these government policies would try and implement. And then so now it's like you've separated yourself. So now you'll be able to continue living in a normal way, away from what they're trying to do. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
So it's how do you spend money in that new society?
Yeah, then that way you can set it up whichever way you want.
So in my mind, that would be cash then. It wouldn't be digital.
Yeah. Or maybe, hopefully, we might even find an even better way, which isn't like cash, because also cash does have problems. But that's not the topic of this conversation. We're talking about how it can be made so that you can get away in the first place. And that is to play the game so that you can leave the game.
If you're living in a society where you say you're being watched all the time, and part of the issues you said is that the government can start policing things that we talk about, blah, blah, blah. You think that the government would know that you're trying to go and build a community that is totally against what it is that they've built here, and they're going to let you cash out your digital crypto money and whatnot?
Well, yeah, like what you're saying, I definitely see where you're coming from. And obviously, these things aren't going to be easy. But I don't think that's a reason for us to say, you know what, it's not going to be easy so let's just give it.
But when I asked you, wait a minute, what are we doing here? I feel like I'm living in like this is Inception. When I asked you what the solution was, you said if you can't beat them, join them.
Yes.
You're doing the same thing I'm doing.
What?
You're just trying to preach as if you're not, but you are.
No, but
you're falling in line as well. Because what are you doing to combat this? Because your solution was, if you can't beat them, join them. I'm going to do the crypto. One day you're going to try and build a community where blah, 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 wherever. Okay, fine. But you're still playing the game of the digital money.
Yes. And your response was that there are too many things for us to think about, so we just don't want to think about it.
No, I didn't say there's too many things to think about. No. If you're going to quote me right. I didn't say there's too many things to think about. I said I find it draining that whenever something happens, we've got to think about how in 20 years, I'd rather use my time thinking about other things that I see the effects right now and I can actually speak against those things. That is where I personally would rather use my energy. I don't believe we can all fight all the fights in the world. All the social issues in the world, not one individual cannot do them all. So I've picked the social issues that I care about, and it's not some that some of you care about, and that's okay. We've all got to spread our wings and go where it is that we feel like our gifts lie. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're saying to me that the solution is you can't beat them, join them, you're saying that the government watching you and whatever else, it means that at some point they're going to try and police the way you live, police the things you talk about, police this. But you think that putting your money in putting your money in these digital spaces is going to somehow give you the freedom to be able to build a community that totally opposes what the government has set up, and you think they're going to leave you to be alive to do that? They're going to just let you freely go and get your money out. It was Clive, the gold guy, told us that if everyone wanted to get their money out from the bank today, there wouldn't be enough money.
No chance.
But somehow you think that you wanting to create a new community where you can spend cash or whatever alternative money you want to spend, you think that's just going to be freely available and freely made available to you.
Well,
you need to start doing the work now outside of what the government's doing. That's what you need to be doing. You can't join the government in the hopes of one day beating them.
Wait, who said joining the government? Who said joining the government? No one said anything about joining the government.
I said join them. Who is the one making these rules about cashless societies? Who's making the rules about cashless societies?
You keep saying these things and you're not letting.
Who is making the rules about cashless societies?
The government. But what I said is join them in the what's it called, in the search for power, because it's not like you could start tomorrow selling face masks and you could make enough wealth in order to separate yourselves from society eventually. Like, it's not necessarily just about crypto. And I find it funny because what you said before is you said that it's not that you're saying there are too many things to think about, you're just saying that you don't want to think about these things, or that there are too many things and you don't want to think about them, which is basically the same thing as exactly what I said. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
It's not the same thing as exactly what you said, because I'll be honest with you, Sally, I have no horses in this race. I don't care enough about this topic. That's the honest truth to God.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe, you're saying to me is not making sense. What you're saying is contradictory. What you're saying doesn't actually offer any solution at all to the topic at hand.
The solution is let me clearly state the solution then. The solution is for people to wake up and start planning for the long-term future and understand that in the future these things could be a possibility. So we need to start positioning ourselves from now, from today, and you need to take it very seriously, as if that every single day is the last day of the freedom that we currently have, which we see that every single day these things are getting removed from our list of freedoms, such as freedom of speech. Currently in the UK, we don't necessarily have freedom of speech. People are going to prison for things that they post on Facebook and Twitter. And this is all the start of it. And now with XRP coming into play and everything else, it could be very scary.
So Sally,
because we are moving to a cashless society, and that's a matter of time. By the way, it's going to happen. Just like how credit cards, when they introduced credit cards, people were thinking, and debit cards and all these things, people were looking at them like, "What's that?" How long ago was that? It wasn't too long ago, and now the next one's coming.
I think maybe they're so jobless.
Sally, I was going to ask you something else here, but obviously we need to wrap up. But let me just ask you this simple question.
Yeah.
Would you take the mark of the beast?
What, on my hand to start paying for stuff?
Yeah.
Nah.
Forehead or hand or whatever. Or would you go underground and try and live there? And yeah.
I'll try. In fact, I will comply. Yes, I would like you to hear that. I will comply. I'm on your side. I believe in you. I support. I will comply to all things that my government tell me to do. I would like for my agents to hear this loud and clear.
I can't believe the people that have this mindset that the government's watching and like all of this stuff and the government's going to get you and blah, 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 blah. Which again, I'm not saying it's not true or whatever, but I find it funny when people speak like this. And this is not just Saleh, it's just people in general that have this mindset. When they speak like this with so much conviction, but yet they are the government's puppet. Like, I can't understand having this mindset, but yet you make yourself visible, you use social media, you have bank accounts, you sign up to to get mail, you're on the electoral register. Like, you are doing every single thing, but somehow you feel like the day's going to come, the year's going to come where you're going to manage to beat the system. The system that
Hello?
Weed is killing my people.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, no, you cut out for a second there. But for what you just said right there, what I'd also like to say is slavery went on for 400 years. And I'm very sure that there were people in those slave camps that said the same argument about slavery. So like black slaves, women, men, whoever it might be, and whilst they're hearing that, oh, their fellow slaves are trying to escape, but because at the end of the day, it's like we all understand that we don't trust these governments. We all understand it's not necessarily like they're not treating us, or we're not being treated, we're not being afforded the things that we should really deserve. So yeah, my response to that would only be that I could easily see how people could have said the exact same thing about slavery, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the person within slavery who's actually trying to do something to better his life and for his family lives to come, I don't think we should scrutinize those people. I think we should just say, okay, and at the end of the day, it's a lot easier to just stick to the status quo and just accept what is your fate has been, like the fate that the government give you. That is the much easier route.
Listen
so
here,
I understand,
Kanye.
but I don't think that people outside of that should be scrutinized.
Kanye, I think you got my stance wrong. You got my stance with the slavery example you just gave. You've definitely got my stance wrong. In the slavery scenario, I am the person that's looking at the black man who is a slave master telling me that slavery is bad and we need to beat the system.
What do you mean black slave master?
No. If you're going to use, because you're using the slavery example and you've put me as the wrong person within the slavery scenario that you've drawn for. What I'm saying to you is that I find people that have this mindset, I find it hypocritical. Because you don't live under the radar. You don't live a life that's separated from technology, that's separated from social media, that's separated from all these things that expose you. I take this conversation seriously. And again, I know a couple people who actually live like this. They're not on social media. They don't have any phones that have all these listening devices, all this Siri and whatever else. They like the way they live, they don't have bank accounts. I actually know know people that live like this. When I have this conversation with them, I take it seriously. I understand what they're saying to me. Like it registers what they're saying to me because the way they live their life, it reflects their belief. You are on social media. You are even on TDA doing a Saleh Says segment. It doesn't get more visible than this. What are you talking about?
And for what you said, like you said, it's very hypocritical.
So I am not the person who someone said, oh, let's fight for freedom. Like, no, let's not fight for freedom. We're happy being slaves. That is the wrong example. And I think you don't understand my stance in this. I find these conversations very, what's the word? I find it pretentious. I find it pretentious. I find it hypocritical. I find it baseless. I find it not solution-based because in your active life, you're not doing anything that will take you away from this exposure that you speak of, from this harm that you speak of. It doesn't, my brain can't compute listening to someone telling me that this is what's happening, doom is near, doom is near, doom is near, and you ain't doing anything to protect yourself from the doom. You're going to be in the doom with me. They're probably going to get you first before they get me because I feel like I might even I might even hide a bit more than you do. That's my stance. That's why I can't take this conversation seriously. If it was someone on the phone who was like, I just stumbled, I use the internet once a year. And on this once a year, you came up with my algorithm. So I've just joined in for this conversation. And actually I've got to leave now and go back and live in a what's it called, in the forest somewhere where this is how I live, and blah, blah, blah. I can understand that. But you are going to petrol stations where there's cameras. You're literally living in society, but yet you're saying doom is near, but then you're not doing anything to protect yourself from this doom. I can't understand that. And I don't want to understand. So please don't bother explaining to me. I don't want to understand. Okay. I've tapped out. I'm done.
Fair enough. Had points.
Wonderful.
However, my points will not be heard.
Have a fantastic day.
Yes, I do wish the same fate for everybody else. Everybody have a absolutely beautiful day.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you very much, Sally.
Thank you, man.
No problem.
What a day.
All right, let's wrap up. All right, people. Trigger warning on this one. Big trigger warning, man. A troubled teenager described himself as evil before he attacked 15-year-old Elianne Andam, then threatened to do it again while on remand for her murder. This is what court has heard. So on Wednesday, Hassan Sentamu, who's 18, declined to give evidence at his Old Bailey trial for killing 15-year-old Elianne outside of Whitgift Centre in Croydon, South London, on September 27th last year. Jurors had heard that Sentamu, then aged 17, stabbed her in the neck with a kitchen knife after she stood up for his ex-girlfriend who wanted a teddy bear back. It followed a catalogue of incidents of violent and aggressive behaviour by the defendant, who has been diagnosed with autism. The month after Elianne's death, Sentamu got into a row with a fellow inmate at Oak Hill Secure Training Centre in Milton Keynes. And on being accused of killing girls, Sentamu responded, "I'll do it again. I'll do it to your mum.
What?
Do you want to end up like her, 6 feet under? I'll do the same again." Sentamu, who was studying sports science at Croydon College, has admitted manslaughter, but he denies Elianne's murder on the basis of loss of control. Why? Because of his autism. He denies the charge of having a blade, claiming that he had lawful reason to carry it. And that's pretty much the end of it, man. But the trial's been adjourned until January the 6th. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Another trigger warning on this one, and a student fascinated by true crime and who called himself Ninja Killer has been convicted of the murder of physical trainer Amy Gray on Bournemouth seafront. I think we spoke about this when it happened. Nascent Sadi, who's 20 years old, of Croydon, South London, was also found guilty of the attempted murder of Miss Gray's friend, Leanne Miles, who was 39 years old. Jury was shown footage of the fatal attack in which Sadi is seen loitering around his two victims before walking on the sand and attacking them, and he's seen running after one of the women in the prolonged incident. Home Office pathologist Dr. Basil Perdue told the court that Miss Gray died as a result of 10 knife wounds in the incident in May, including one to the heart, while Miss Miles suffered 20 knife injuries. The court heard that Sadi was fascinated with knives and had bought 6 blades from websites, with several found at his aunt's house where he was living as well as at his parents' home. The student at Greenwich University was studying for a degree in criminology and criminal psychology after dropping out of a physical education course. Had carried out searches about the Millie Dowler and the Brianna Gray killings as well. So they found all of this stuff afterwards, yeah. The defendant, who chose not to give evidence, admitted visiting Bournemouth, but denied the offences and had claimed not to be the man shown in the CCTV footage, claiming that it was a case of mistaken identity. He told police in an interview that he might have blacked out and had no memory of the period that included the attacks. And our last headline, a new project has launched in London aimed at enabling migrants with secure immigration statuses to report abuse and exploitation to the authorities without fear of their personal details being passed on to the Home Office. The 2-year research programme has been awarded £50,000 in grant funding from the Mayor Sadiq Khan and will be led by the Flex charity, the Focus on Labour Exploitation charity. The Secure Reporting Scheme forms part of a wider £1.1 million City Hall investment in projects to support migrants, refugees and asylum seekers in London. It comes after the Mayor promised in his re-election manifesto earlier this year to continue to stand up for migrant workers' rights and to protect them from exploitation. Research commissioned by City Hall last year found that many migrant workers in London are subjected to bullying and discrimination, as well as experiencing issues with pay, such as being paid late, sometimes not even paid at all. Sexual harassment, particularly towards women migrant workers in the cleaning, care and hospitality sectors, was also found to be a common occurrence. And that's it for our headlines, guys. Time to pay them bills.
All right, let's get into Word on Road. All right. I think, earlier this year I talked about the Real Housewives of Potomac cast member, Karen Huger. She's the oldest of the cast, so she's the one who looks like Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mum. That one. And she's called La Dame, whatever she calls herself. But anyway, basically, I reported about her. She had a crash earlier in the year, and she was charged with a DUI because, said she was drunk and whatnot. But cut a long story short, there was a whole 2-day trial. Well, firstly, her lawyers tried to get the case dismissed. So they said how there was an illegal search by the police. So they tried to, on that basis, get the case thrown out. it didn't get thrown out. There's a 2-day trial, and the jury found her guilty. She actually had a few accusations or a few charges against her. So, it was, what was it? So she was charged with a DUI and DWI, negligently driving a vehicle in a careless and imprudent manner, endangering property, life, and person. She was also charged with recklessly driving a vehicle and willful disregard for the safety of persons and property. She also was charged with failure to control vehicle speed on the highway to avoid a collision, driving a vehicle in excess of reasonable and prudent. That's about the speed one. She also was charged with driving on the highway with suspended registration. So because she basically failed to let them know that she had changed the address and whatever within 30 days. Yeah, so she's found guilty of all the charges except the reckless driving one. And she'll be sentenced on the 29th of January. And then also the crazy part is there's body cam footage that's being released now, and she's gonna get it the next reunion. She's gonna get it bad. They're absolutely horrible. Apparently she was really, really horrible. She was rude and disrespectful to police officers. Apparently she complimented one police officer, a woman, and she was like, "Oh, you're so pretty and beautiful." But the other ones, she was telling them to F off and go F themselves and whatever else. And I'm one of the ones that she was in the in jail, in the holding cell or whatever it was, or the interview room. I couldn't quite hear, but I'm sure she was going back and forth with the guy about being white or something like that. And then not her talking about she's Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Auntie looked a hot mess. Wig was sliding. And that wig was holding up to hopes and was holding on to faith because that wig was done. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see what it is that happens. She is facing a maximum of 2 years in jail. So I believe the minimum sentence she can get is a $500 fine, I think I read, and is it 2 months in jail? I think is it 500 or 5,000, and 2 months in jail, or also a fine and 2 years in jail. So we'll see what it is that happens. But her sentence is January the 29th. And when news of that comes, I will let you know. I think that will also depend. I hope this is her first one, because if it isn't, and she's a repeat offender, she could possibly be facing jail time. But yeah, it's obviously really, really bad. But her legal rep has released a statement, and they said, although we are disappointed in the jury's verdict, we of course respect their decision and appreciate the time hearing our case. They also said that they continue to reserve her right to appeal. You know, sometimes when people are caught doing something in 4K, just don't appeal. Just don't waste everybody's time. The appeal is not going to bring back, it's not going to bring a more favorable sentence. It's just not going to happen. But yeah, they said that they reserve her right to an appeal and intend to fully pursue justice on her behalf. They said, we appreciate your support and prayers for Mrs. Huger and her family at this time. It's interesting because at the time when it happened, the next day she posted, obviously the news broke about her car, blah, blah, blah. Her car was written off, it was a whole mess. She did release a statement at the time and just said that, she did lose her mum and she was really, really close to her mum. The show showed that. And she said how grieving her mum has been up and down, and she went out with a friend and she said she was crying. She claimed that she was crying, and while she was crying, a car tried to run into her, and then she swerved. She hit a tree, hit this, whatever. She swerved and whatnot. But then she said, the statement is funny because she said her greatest shock is that the other driver drove away. But obviously, the body cam footage is showing her slurring her words that she's drunk. And it's so interesting because her husband is there. Big up Ray, man. That man, that is a good man. He sticks by her. Because he was then on the scene. He was then right there when the police were there, an ambulance or whatever. She also apparently refused treatment from people in the ambulance. So when he was there, the police were trying to question her about what happened. But you can see that he's looking at her. He's trying to stylishly be like, talk to me because she might be emotional right now. Obviously, he knows she's drunk. So then the officers must have asked her, like, how much did she drink? So she's trying to ask him, because they're trying to look for her license. She's like, she's trying to ask, like, Ray, have you seen the license? And then he then goes, it's so interesting because he then goes, I think they're trying to ask you how much you drank, but I think you just probably had like 2 beers. tea looked like she was at a bottomless brunch. Like a bottomless, strong, lychee martini brunch. So he was just like, oh, like it looked like, you know, I feel like you probably just had like, what, two beers. And, you know, that's it. Just trying to like, you know, like when you're trying to subtly coach somebody because they're not there. Anyway, big up Ray, man. That is a man. He does stand by his wife. He stands by his wife. But yeah, I'll let you guys know what it is that she gets sentenced to. It will definitely come out. Speaking of which, who's next? Oh yeah, Chance the Rapper's wife, Kirsten Corley, has filed for divorce from him. So I mentioned again, they also a few months ago, I think it was April, they announced that they were separated. So they had a whole, they put a statement out and they said after a period of separation, this is what they said back in April on Instagram. After a period of separation, the two of us have arrived at the decision to part ways. We came to this decision amicably. We fight in English, and with gratitude for the time we spent together. And obviously, they've also got they've got 2 kids as well. But yeah, so officially now she has filed for divorce from him, and yeah, that's all the information that there is. It's just that they filed for divorce. The details and stuff like that are not public at present. Shouldn't be winding up. I feel like around the period he was winding up and down the streets of was it Trinidad? Where was he? Where did he go to be winding up? It was Trinidad, wasn't it?
Trinidad,
it was, yeah. Maybe they were having issues. I don't know why he thought that would have been a good idea to wind up and down the high street of Trinidad then. But anyways, it is sad though, obviously when a marriage ends, especially when there's kids involved and stuff like that. But hopefully they are able to figure it out and be mature and just, you know, be there for their children. So that's what's happening with that. Speaking of lawsuits and whatnot, Thee Stallion has filed a restraining order lawsuit against what's his name? What's the leprechaun? Tory Lanez, that's it. Sorry. Tory Lanez. And basically she's saying that she just wants to stop. He's been harassing her from behind jail, right? So she just wants the harassment to stop, essentially. She wants a restraining order against him. And then also, a while ago, I talked about how she was taking this blogger to court, this girl called Milagro or whatever. Turns out, some of the findings of the lawyers, turns out Tory Lanez's daddy has been paying Milagro money, allegedly, to be talking about what's her name? Megan.
What's his name again? Sundisk.
Sundown, what was it?
Sunlord.
Sun.
Daylord.
Is it
Daystar?
Daystar.
No, that's Tory.
That's Tory. What's his dad again?
Sunstar?
Yes.
It's something like that. Something like that.
He's a bit superior.
Yeah, I think he's the son and the diamond. So yeah, so apparently that's what's been happening, where he's allegedly, and yeah, because that's also part of what Megan's lawyer filed, was that there was a phone conversation between Tory and his dad about sending payments to her or whatever else. And obviously Milagro always he says stuff that antagonizes and harasses Megan. So that's what's happening. They just want him to stop doing all that stuff from behind bars. Something else I was going to add to that. Hold on. Was some else. Oh yeah, and also apparently they've falsely claimed that the gun and fragments from the incident are missing, while trying to prove his innocence. And then also, he filed that petition. It's called habeas corpus, and is basically asking to be set free. And he filed that a day before her documentary on Amazon Prime came out. So basically, it's doing these little things to harass and antagonize her and stuff like that. So they just want all of that to stop. And here, I'm here for that. It's funny because Mario's come back. Mario's released new music, right? And he was talking about how, I've been gone a while, and he's trying to make it seem like, I've been gone a while, and you know, people thought I was sleeping. Someone said, nostrils. There's so many people on Twitter, so rude. So it's like, no, nostrils. Hold on a minute. They said because you wrote a letter in support of Tory against Megan. Oh. That's why we boycott your music. Don't try and be all here acting as if, we just forgot you. No. Black people are so annoying when they call something, like when they use an object to call somebody something, like, hey, wig. my gosh. Anyway, that's what's happening. I reckon it's gonna be. I reckon she'll get the restraining order, to be honest, because that man has not been helping himself since being back behind bars. I told you they had to seize his studio. I reported earlier this year at some point that they had to seize his studio and whatnot. He's in there making music like Lucius Lyon. He's done all of that. You're done. You're done. And then lastly, Molly May has a docu-series. It's a 6-part docu-series coming to Prime Video. That's going to be out on what date is it again? It's in January as well. 17th of January, you'll be able to watch that. And it's basically following her life since her and, what's that boy? Tommy broke up. He's going to talk about that. It's basically giving you like it's a reality TV show. It's like a Keeping Up with the Kardashians, basically. I think this is really nice because we don't really have those type of shows in the UK. The UK is boring with certain things, man, when it comes to like reality TV and stuff. But yeah, so it's basically going to be showing you the reality of her life behind this whole glam life and all that stuff. It features her family. Her mum is in there. Her dad is in there. Her sister's in there. Her grandma is in there, child. Everybody's in there. It also talk about how she's navigating being a single parent. It will show as well her with Tommy and like, you know, how they're dealing with the breakup and obviously the engagement and all that kind of stuff as well. In the trailer, it shows her arguing with Tommy and whatever else, and then he locks off on the phone and whatever, and then she's talking about how, you know, it's difficult and blah, blah, blah. And she talks about how, you know, she was really looking forward to get married and how her life has just changed overnight and all that stuff. I think it'll be very interesting. Her dad did say as well that she's a normal girl, which her family says as well, that she's a normal girl who went on a TV show and like basically her life is just out there for everyone to watch now. And I guess that's just sad, really, isn't it? Because she's just famous, but behind this famous person is just a normal person. And I feel like that's people don't think that with celebrities, especially in this day and age. Back then, celebrities had training. There was a whole media training courses that happened. That's why we never knew anything about Beyonce's life. They're so media trained, it's ridiculous to a T. But the reality of celebrity culture now is that it's your everyday person who just becomes famous, and then people expect them to act accordingly. But it's like, no, they're human and they're normal kind of thing. So yeah, it's interesting. I may give it a watch. What date is it again? The 16th or something like that, wasn't it? Hold on, sorry y'all. 17th. Okay. Yeah, I reckon I'll give it a watch anyway, but I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be nice. And it also talks about her clothing brand and how, you know, doing all of that stuff. That is called Maybe, and that is just her name and her daughter's name, Bambi. That's a really pretty name. But yeah, so the first 3 episodes are going to be out on the 17th of January. And then the second part will come out in the spring of 2025. I can't believe 2025 is literally 3 weeks away. Yeah, technically 2. It's crazy. But yeah, that's what's going on with Molly May. I think it'll be interesting. I do feel like we need more of stuff like this. I feel like for some reason, I feel like British media is so much harsher than the American one. They're mean in Britain. Like the British media, and I feel like even like, so I don't know if you remember years ago that on EastEnders when Janine stole someone's baby. Remember that time she swapped her baby with Cat's baby?
Sounds familiar, but I can't remember.
You know, she was in real life. She and the kids were being like insulted and like she was like, I'm an actress. Like EastEnders is not real. I don't know. Something about the UK media is just it can be very, very unkind. But to be fair, I feel like Molly gets a lot of love. I think she does. Obviously, you always have trolls and stuff, but it'll be interesting to see what this does anyway. I think it will do well. But yeah, but apparently the cameras have been following her around for a while and getting the behind the scenes of her life. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens outside of that. Yeah, that is it for Word on Road today. Not much for me. Let's get into the People's Journal.
By the way, this is his auntie. Can you remember her?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Who's auntie?
The caller from Birmingham. Anubis.
Oh, Funds.
Was it Funds?
Yeah, it was Funds.
Yeah, Anubis. Anubis is his name in the chat. Yeah.
Did he believe in God? I can't believe you guys didn't ask that.
Yeah, because I know we're going to get there. But I know that he doesn't believe in God in the same way that religious folk would.
Okay. Like a Wednesday conversation. Well, next month is Christmas, so nah. Okay. People's Journal, please.
All right.
Sorry. It was Ronnie, the baby thief, and his enders.
Oh.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, people. Welcome to the People's Journal, where I give you the news from an economics point of view. So the first thing I want to talk about is the big thing, which is the interest rates. So remember, we were speaking about the interest rates. People believed that the Bank of England may reduce the interest rates. Long story short, they're going to make the announcement at 12 o'clock, but it's looking like the Bank of England is expected to hold the interest rates at 4.75%. It's not looking fantastic, guys. It's not looking too good. This is because, obviously, like we spoke about the other day, inflation has now risen for the second month in a row to 2.6%. The Bank of England had a target of 2%. I don't want to blame Labour too much. Obviously, it's definitely part of the reason, but it is early days, you know what I'm saying? So it may just go up and then hopefully come down again, you know what I'm saying? We have to wish them the best. Every decision they make affects us, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully they've got it right, and, you know what I mean, all the economic analysts who are basically criticising the budget have got it wrong. By the moment, the Bank of England is keeping it at 4.75%. Also, US share prices slumped as well. Central Bank, which is almost basically like the equivalent of the Bank of England, they cut interest rates though for the third time in a row. However, their economic projections though signal that a slower pace of cuts were going to be happening next year. So this is all again them assessing the economic climate at the moment, and so it doesn't really inject any confidence. And so because of that, stock market dropped, crypto dropped, everything dropped. And now with this announcement with the Bank of England as well, saying they're going to keep interest rates, it's probably looking like they may further drop in it. Not financial advice for those who want to buy the dip. I don't know. That's up to you, innit? I'm just saying that's what it's looking like now, innit? People are feeling somewhat sketchy about the stock market and about everything in it because of the announcement of central bank and the Bank of England. On top of that, though, also crypto, El Salvador, which became the first country in the world to make Bitcoin legal tender. So this is back in 2021. I think we might have spoken about this, maybe just in passing. Anyway, they've struck a $1.4 billion loan deal with the IMF, right? But they've agreed to scale back Bitcoin, basically. So this doesn't really give much confidence to the whole Bitcoin cryptocurrency thing. You know what I'm saying? They obviously need the money. They've gone to the IMF, but the IMF has probably said, yo, we'll give you this, or we'll agree to these loan terms or whatever with you and help you out if you scale back your plans, your overall plan for Bitcoin, innit? So for those that know, Bitcoin hit like $108,000 early this week, I believe. Was it yesterday? No, not yesterday. Might have been yesterday or 2 days ago, anyway. Something like that, anyway. It was this week, anyway. Remember they hit 100,000 like about a week ago or 2 weeks ago. But now, yeah, it's hit a new record high of just over $108,000. But yeah, man, the IMF said that the potential risks of the Bitcoin project will be diminished significantly in line with the fund policies, i.e. the IMF fund policies, right? Legal reforms will make acceptance of Bitcoin by the private sector voluntary. For the public sector, engagement in Bitcoin-related economic activities and transactions in and purchases of Bitcoin will be confined, right? So they obviously want to get on top of this, and obviously this is what their agreement was, and this is what El Salvador had to agree to if they wanted that $1.4 billion. So that's the situation at hand. So all of these things.
E-man.
Yo.
Yes. Okay, so now with this Bitcoin thing,
yeah,
I think anyone who is interested in looking into cryptocurrency or anything like that,
yes,
I would suggest that they look into ISO 222, because I think that explains why they would be like reeling it back in with Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it just explains everything. ISO 20022. It explains everything. Basically, the banks, but because they're not saying that they should stop using cryptocurrency, they're specifically talking about Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, which is explained in iOS. Well, the reason is ISO
0022. Do you want to give people a brief reason why? For those who probably won't go out and check.
Okay. There's a company called Ripple. Ripple provide financial services for banks, and
XRP.
No. The company is Ripple.
Okay, cool.
The coin is XRP.
Yeah. But I'm linking it to that because of what you mentioned earlier, innit? So the people.
Oh yeah. You know, don't worry. We'll get there. So
right, cool.
Ripple, the company,
yeah,
they like currently your Santander's, your Barclays, blah blah blah. They are using Ripple's services.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and now what's happening is Ripple also have a coin called XRP, which is not currently being used by banks, but every cryptocurrency that has been created for a specific reason to do a specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
And XRP was created for international transactions.
Mm.
So that's the sole purpose of international transactions. And currently banks struggle with international transactions. They don't struggle, but it's not as fast as it could be.
Okay.
And there are high fees attached to international transactions, which obviously they're trying to avoid.
Mm-hmm.
So now there is this, basically, there is an international law that's going to be implemented next year, which is going to say that every cryptocurrency or every bank needs to use technologies which align with ISO 222. XRP.
Sorry, Sally. When you say ISO 220, are you saying ISO 20022 or 222?
Yes. No, 20022.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Now, yes, so they all need to comply with ISO 222, and that is going to come into effect next year. So I believe the final deadline for them to make all their switches over is, I think, around November next year, but I'm not 100% sure on that date. But it's next year that this is going to be global law for banks making international transactions. Now, a bank can make an international transaction with technology which uses ISO 222, which is not a cryptocurrency.
Mm-hmm.
However, if they did want to avoid the waiting times and the high fees that come with sending normal currency internationally, then that would mean that they would have to move to a cryptocurrency. And the only cryptocurrency currently that has been specifically made for international transactions and complies with ISO 222 is XRP.
Mm.
So most likely banks will be putting the money that they're putting through international transactions into XRP so that they can quickly make these transactions cross borders. And but people should do their own research.
So this is why, because somebody told me that that they're basically putting a lot of money on XRP at the moment, innit? Because they believe basically what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, there's other crypto coins out there that has a lot more room for growth, innit? But they pretty much believe in that because of what you're saying. I'm assuming anyway, because they didn't link it to what you're saying, but it must be that they know what you're talking about, right? So they're pretty much banking on the fact that XRP is going to be that number one thing, innit? So it's probably why they're doing that. But of course, guys, remember, do your research. There's no financial advice from me or
do your own research.
So
do your own research, everyone. But definitely do look into ISO 222. It, like, when you look into it and you understand what they're saying, like it's quite eye-opening. And that relates to us moving towards a cashless society. It's all part of the same coin.
All right, appreciate that, Sally, man. Thank you.
Yep. No worries. Speak to you guys soon.
Yes.
Bye.
All right, people. And the last thing I wanted to talk about pretty much is that the water bills are going to be rising, man, from April. They're going to be going up by an average of £86. Some people might be a bit less, for some people might be considerably more. This steep rise is part of, it's basically because in England and Wales, over the next 5 years, there's going to be some money that's going to be going into the whole infrastructure upgrades and to reduce sewage and all this nonsense. Stuff that basically, off what I was been telling these private companies to be sorting out on their own dime, pretty much. But long story short, what we've also found out is, and I just saw this in the Telegraph, right, is that 6 out of 10 sewage companies, right, increased their chief executives' bonuses last year. So all of this stuff is not a new phenomenon. This has been happening for a while now. In fact, I think I spoke about this before. I'm not too sure if last time when I mentioned this, I was saying 6 out of 10 of them are going to be increasing their amounts. They basically wanted permission from Ofwat to basically increase their bill rates for their customers considerably. But now, anyway, we found out now that in addition to wanting them to increase the price for their customers, all of their CEOs basically, in these 6 out of 10 companies, water and sewage companies, got huge bonuses last year. And this is basically what's happening. So the public faces a 36% rise in bills. They're not sinking, guys. They're not sinking. But besides that, that's it, man. There isn't much else to talk about. The only other thing I wanted to mention is, and this is a trigger one, this isn't economics, but it's not one of our headlines. It's just something that's happening right now. And this is about the Giselle Pellicott case. Trigger one again. This is about the situation where, for those who don't recognize the name, where the ex-husband basically was setting up this thing in private, drugging the wife and making
sex trafficking his wife.
Basically, and having these animals come in and have sex with her when she's pretty much unconscious and stuff. Yeah, man. So his name's Dominic Pellicott, and he's now been sentenced to a maximum of 20 years in prison.
How old is
he? He's old, you know. It's like, how old is he?
60. So, oh, good.
I think so, yeah.
I want him to die in there. Because actually, when I was even talking about that girl that did, 72, I wonder if he's not going to make it out alive. When I was talking about that girl that did the whole OnlyFans 100 people thing,
yes,
around that time, and when we're hearing about this case, how tone deaf that is. That's why I can't take her seriously. I can't take her seriously for a second. Because how tone deaf, that was actually, this case has been ongoing for a while. It's been trending for a long time of how disgusting and crazy and sick it is.
Yep.
And then you then want to do one for fun. Same crazy thing that happened.
It's diabolical.
Silly little girl.
Diabolical. But yeah, this is what's happening, man. For those who don't know, I'll just quickly say what's going on. Again, trigger one on this, guys. Yeah. So Dominic Pellicott has been sentenced to a maximum of 20 years in prison for inviting more than 70 strangers, 70 different men, to rape his unsuspecting wife, Giselle, in their home as she laid drugged unconscious. Right? She has no idea this is happening. Right? He basically would film the abuse of his wife and meticulously store the images and films on a hard drive. He was found out by chance after being arrested in the supermarket for what? Upskirting.
What's upskirting?
I think it's one.
Oh, that's when you pimp somebody out when you're.
Was that what it is?
No,
my bad.
Isn't it one of those
when you take the camera and then you basically
Ah.
film the nanny from underneath?
Yeah. So this is back in 2020. So no one knew about none of the animalistic stuff he was doing to his wife behind doors.
Do you know what's sickening? But you know what's mad? People did though, because some of those men were her neighbors.
Oh yeah, of course. Besides those who were engaged,
and that's just wild.
It's mad.
Wild, wild.
Yeah.
You should have got death by flipping. I don't even know what's the worst way.
The neighbors too, right?
Everybody, any man who ever slept with that woman, the husband, all of them.
I think that's
anybody, and even if there was someone he went to help burn the content into a hard drive, get that man to or that girl to anybody at all. That's sickening.
It's that absolutely terrible.
Sorry, no, I'm even more disgusted at what that stupid girl is doing. Then I'm actually more annoyed about that now. I just completely forgot about this case. That's even more. That's more disgusting.
Yeah, man. Obviously, the sentence is pretty much expected. Why? Because he told the court, this is what he said in court, I'm a rapist like everyone else in this room.
What?
That's what he said.
So there's no remorse?
I don't know if, maybe not.
There's no remorse. You can't say something like that and be remorseful.
I'm not too sure though if he's speaking about the other guys who were defendants.
If everybody in this court
basically
now,
everyone,
you could have said everybody else on trial with me.
That's true.
You got to pick your words.
That's true.
So them other men as well, did they get convicted?
So the court found 47 of the defendants guilty of rape, 2 guilty of attempted rape, and 2 guilty of sexual assault.
Been there for 20 years.
Yeah, but his one's a maximum of 20 years. It might be even be less. Who knows? But he's 72 now, though. Like you said, he probably died behind bars.
Actually, I don't want him to die in there. Actually,
Yeah.
I want him to make it out to the very last day of his sentence, come out, get jumped. You know when they give him that little clear bag of his little belongings? I want him to get jumped for that and then have to lay there with his injuries and then die. He deserves every pain that he inflicted on that woman. That's disgusting, man.
That's pretty much it for the People's Journal, guys.
All right, let's get into some asking for a friend. All right. Oh, I like this one. Age 27. Peace and blessings to you all. Wanted to get your thoughts on whether you deem living with your partner before marriage as an important aspect of dating. Context. My partner and I are of Christian faith, both Ghanaian, both have healthy savings. We have been together for 2 years and it has been going well. We both live at home in our respective parents' house. I've always had the idea that I would live with my partner before proposing or marriage. However, knowing how my faith, tradition, culture views this has had me question whether this is needed. My partner is of the belief that this isn't strictly necessary, but would be down to do a trial run, which could include an Airbnb for a month or rent for a month. Cost of living has also played a part because who wants to spend 1 to 2K on seeing whether our relationship will survive? But is that just an opportunity cost? We have only spent 1 week together, which has come from holidays. Do you believe that you should spend significant time in shared spaces with your partner before making big decisions? Does it even matter? Does religion play a part? Would love to hear your opinions. Stay blessed and big respect for providing a platform for Black greatness.
Big up you, man.
Thank you very much. Big up you, my love.
Very wholesome asking for a friend.
Very. Don't get those.
God bless you both, man.
God bless you. Place and blessings and light and everything is great. Personally, I will not have no plans of living with my partner before we get married. Same reason. Mine's a faith thing and just trying to prevent that, which God has told me to prevent. But I do feel hesitancy when it comes with like living with someone full term, because I know because I'm an introvert, but also I get overstimulated in like social settings, and there's times I just need silence and I just need quiet and I just need downtime. Like I need like this Christmas period. My family is so funny. Last year I spent the whole from dawn till dusk because of my family the whole day. And then was, okay, see you in the next 3 days. I said, yeah. Because they know that I've reached my limit and I need downtime. And I think what I've come to realize is that it's about the person that you're with understanding that. If you're someone that needs space occasionally, there's nothing wrong with it. I think that when it comes to relationships, people have this very possessive thing where you feel like your partner is like, you own them. It's your thing. They can't have a life outside of you. They can't have friends outside of you. They can't go out without you. They can't do things outside of you because you guys must be stuck together all the time. And from the people who have been married for years and have very healthy relationships who I admire and I would get advice from, healthy space is necessary. Do you get what I mean? Personally, I don't think it's a requirement before you move in with somebody, because I think that if you love your partner so much, there's just certain things that you would just deal with. Like, what kind of things could be a deal breaker? Obviously not thinking in the extreme sense, but if someone's messy, that's something that we'll have to talk about and have to deal with. And I think that if you've been in holiday settings, you would know. Obviously, I guess a 7-day holiday compared to like living together long term, you would know. But I think that in those kind of settings, the way I see it anyway, is that we'll have to work through these things. Unless it's like something that's an absolute deal breaker, we'll have to work through it. If my partner is very, very messy, we'll have to work through that and find how we can not do that, because I can't live in mess. Do you know what I mean? We'll have to create a balance. But the love I have for you will not disappear and will not diminish because you're a messy person. And also, if I want to spend life with you, that will not change because you're a messy person. Like, the person is a person. If I think that you're someone I want to get married to and I want to spend my life with, it's because of you, it's because of your character, it's because of things that for me are non-negotiable. And if those things are present and there's other things that you might lack, and maybe you don't like washing dishes, you don't like doing da. I feel like those things for me personally, I feel like are fixable. There's ways around those things. And I think those are the kind of things that help you learn about each other more and build your relationship. Because really and truly, even if you do the trial run for a month, you can just put your best foot forward for a month.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what, for the most part, that's what people do in relationships. So yeah, I personally think it's a prerequisite. I think that as a married couple, you will find your feet and you'll find your balance. Like I've got married friends, and it's funny because I actually went out with one of my friends who's married recently, and I was like, and I remember I said to her, I was like, how do you like? You just always there. Like you're just always gonna. And honestly, that's one of my things about like marriage. Is that you're just always gonna be there. I turn you're there. I turn there you're there. That's my thing. And I remember asking about it, and she was just like, no, like she's like, we do like our separate things and whatever. And she's like, if it's a thing where she needs space or whatever, she just says like, I'm not feeling really great today. And he'll be like, do you want me around or do you want me to? And she'll be like, oh, that you can take time. And he does that. And it's same for him as well. Like it's just healthy conversations you have to have because everyone's got very different personalities. Do you get what I mean? It's like if you're an introvert and you go out with someone who's an extrovert. You're not gonna expect me to be out with you all the time because I can't handle that. So personally, babes, in conclusion, I don't think that you need to do that. I don't think it's necessary. And I think if you guys get on really well, and I think especially because she doesn't think it's necessary as well, it means that I feel like you guys will be able to find your feet when it does come to that. And really, truly, it sounds as though like the reason why you want to do it is because it's what you've heard it being said that it might be a good thing. If it's not your personal belief to want to do that, I don't think you should force yourself doing that. But that's just me personally, love. What do you guys think?
I pretty much agree, man. Like, again, like obviously the context is my partner and I of Christian faith, of Ghanaian, both have healthy savings, been together for 2 years, both live at home, etc., etc. They're very. It sounds like they're the type who feel like if they get married, they're together for life.
Yeah.
My question is, are you trying to spend this month together to find problems? Because the reality is...
you want an out.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like obviously I know you're not trying to find it out, but it's almost like you're saying, let's find the problems to kind of be prepared for it sort of thing. The reality is that 1 month won't show you everything. Some cases won't show you anything. You have to go and live together and you come up with stuff that you find annoying. 1,000,000%. But because you've got the mindset already to be like, cool, once we get married, we're staying married together. You might as well just do it the way you see as the proper way. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you planning to find out in that month or so that's going to be of real benefit to you? You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much how I see it. The most that will happen is you guys will split up. And I just feel as though the way you guys have lived your lives, the things you got in common, the 2 years, the Christian faith, all that sort of stuff, the way it sounds anyway. Again, maybe I'm doing a lot of assumptions here, but it sounds like you guys want this to work and you guys want to be together forever. So make it happen. Don't go into it looking for issues or trying to prepare for something, if that makes sense. Like, just make it happen. Because you will find stuff that you don't like about each other. You know what I'm saying? Habits. Like you said, the mess or how you just operate. Because none of you have lived together before. It's going to happen. And a month is not going to show you everything.
It's not. And I think...
At all.
I feel like the fact they've even gone on holiday and that's gone well. Trust me. A holiday with the wrong person? On day one, you're ready to go home. Day one. So I feel like the fact that you guys could... Obviously, again, you can still be performative.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's something about a holiday that really shows people's trick. I don't know what it is about a holiday. Something about a holiday will show you... Dare I say what even 1 month in a relationship will not show you? I don't know what is in the spirits. Something about holidays. Hell. Anyway, yeah. Brent, what do you think?
I'm not too sure about what living together for a month is going to uncover. They obviously love each other.
Yeah.
They obviously love God. And they're obviously committed to loving each other.
Yeah.
They're choosing every single day to love each other. It sounds as though they're quite balanced with their finances. So I don't know what living for a month together is going to achieve. Is it that they're going to be sleeping in the same bed? Like, what practice are you going to be observing? Is it how you are in the kitchen, as in if you wash your ways after you, or if it's just you just leave it? Because you can just ask them about that without having to pay a certain amount of money for that bed and breakfast for the month. I don't understand what
Like what it's gonna achieve for you.
If it's what do you like to do in your spare time whilst at home, you can ask them that. And surely you should have been able to observe that even beforehand.
Yeah, and you've been together for 2 years as well.
Yeah.
So you will see like what she's like. Like, I don't know if you go to her house, she comes to your house, like you see what her environment looks like. And I mean, the first maybe few months of relationship, you tidy up and da-da-da, but I imagine that you're at that comfortable stage of your relationship.
If it's a case where, and I would like people to call up and help me out with this, if it's a case where they have been putting their best foot forward for the 2 years, they haven't actually shown
what their real self
the
is.
other partner who they are when it is that they're not performing.
Yeah.
Then again, that's communication. That's your choice for the last 2 years. Being in that house is not going to change that.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused as to what this exercise would achieve. That would then have you say, no, I'm not going to marry him or her.
Can I nominate someone to call?
Who'd you hear from? I
think JM should call up.
JM, call up.
Yeah, because JM, with the very silly fingers, said that they hate when I don't know why people listen. I told you it's not yet. It's first of all, it's the end of the year. I got time. I've got nothing but time. My mind, my body, my spirit is in Lagos. I have nothing to lose, right? Here JM. JM hates when I give opinions on things I have no experience in. How can you be such a mug where you hate when I give my opinions on what I would do and how I live? Is that not crack?
So I'm surprised.
JM, I think you should call out.
I'm surprised.
Since you got a fucking degree and you know all the answers.
You haven't blocked her, to be honest.
I've never noticed it. I only know JW. JW is good vibes. JM is a new... I've never noticed that JM, you imposter. I couldn't even come up with your own name.
Is JM a woman though?
I don't know. Woman, man, whoever it is, call up because you got your degree. Come and give the answers because you're so educated. Best in marriage. Come on, call up.
I've got something here. Hold up.
Oh.
All right.
Don't drain me.
Seeing a woman on her cycle and seeing a man with a cold, aka man flu, will let you know you know your partner.
That's not lying. Though. Men being sick gets on my nerves.
It's one of the worst things in life.
Oh!
Because like science shows that when
science or science?
Science.
Which one?
And the science. A real man flu is as bad as they say. You know that the worst part of giving birth? They say it's like that.
I can't believe that's where you went. I can't believe that's
trying to find the worst thing.
I can't believe that's where you went.
Yes.
But again, this is the reality.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, in relationships, like the way I relationship. The way I relationship, that time of the month, I say like wherever I'm feeling, I let you know because I told you I was chasing someone down in the car. I'd be angry. So then I don't, again, because I love this person and I care about this person, I don't believe in lashing out on your partner anyway. That's just in general. So I wouldn't lash out on them and use that as an excuse. You know what I mean? I just communicate with I'm really not in a good mood to talk today. And then I just won't talk. And we move on from there.
Yeah.
Well, Stacey actually made a good comment that I really liked actually. Where is it? Sorry, hold on. Yeah, so Stacey said, anything you will find in a trial run, you will only leave because you aren't married and it's easier. But when you are married, you have motivation to work through it. Mm-hmm. I believe that as well.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to live with a man before. I don't think I'd ever be with a man if I did that. I'd nitpick, but I'm not perfect myself.
Exactly.
I don't know the habits I have. But I would only be seeing his habits and then be like, oh, I can't, like, no, I just, that wouldn't be good for someone like me.
Yeah, it's not necessary, man.
You're 5 divorces down. Okay, well, unfortunately, JM clearly doesn't have the answers. Smart ass. Next one. Okay, this is for Marlon. It's nothing crazy like that. This is for Brent, actually. Brent, can I ask you with everything you... Sorry, let me start again. Brent, can I ask you with everything that's recorded in your studio, like 3 shots, no behavior, TDA, etc., are you always in... Is that JM?
No, this is Ebony.
Oh, hi, Ebony. Actually, let's talk about it. Can you hear us?
Sorry.
Are you muted?
You don't hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Morning, how are you?
Okay.
Morning, I'm fine, thank you. I'm
Good
just
stuff.
laying down before I got to go into work. Yeah, so what I was saying is with this dilemma,
Yeah.
I think their heart is in the right place, but it's also misplaced. So by that, their trial is 1 month. 1 month isn't how you would attempt to live with somebody. Living with somebody is living with them all in. So you don't have bills together. So in that 1 month, what are you achieving? You're just having a breakaway from your respective homes, as I said earlier in the chat.
Basically.
So that 1 month isn't going to achieve anything for them. Living with somebody is you're putting your all in. So now what are we doing? Our money has to go in a pot. Who's responsible for the mortgage or the bills or whatever? Who's responsible for doing the food shop? Who's responsible for the cleaning schedule? Who's responsible? Obviously, they don't have children, but, you know, things like that. So it works a completely different way when you actually live with somebody than just staying with them. You can stay with anybody because they could even do this in each other's houses, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But you're still not living with each other because you don't have, like, for lack of a better word, burden of financial responsibility, for instance. So once you start compounding those things into what living with each other is, that gives you the realistic side of what living with your partner is.
You know what? When you just said that, it's basically they would be like uni housemates. Actually, yeah.
Yes.
Because there is no the practicality and the reality. Yeah, the practical things you have to do in a marriage, like all the examples Ebony gave, wouldn't be there for a month.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah,
So
that's true.
that's
Actually, you
it.
ever go all in? Because the friend I was talking about, they actually lived together before they even got married. So when I said to her, I was like, "Oh, what's the difference?" She's like, "Girl, she's like, remember I was living with him before we even got married." So they were already doing all these things Ebony's listed before they got married. And again, because they love each other, it's not. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world kind of thing. But
Yeah,
that's the point,
because-
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think, you know, when you're saying about somebody being messy or those things, it's not the mess, because that can still be hidden within that month trial or something. But it's also, how do you do things? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
So, for instance, we have a dishwasher in our house. My husband refuses to use the dishwasher.
Hold on to me. I hate
That
dishwasher.
sounds really, really stupid, and it's not a point of an argument, but he's like, why am I going to use the dishwasher when there's a sink right there? I'm like, the dishwasher is to make life easier.
Yeah, I used to
But
do
he
that as well.
doesn't see it that way.
I hate it. Do you know what it's about a dishwasher? I'm so sorry, yeah, but I'm like your husband.
The rinsing beforehand.
It's the loading it up.
Yeah, what's the point?
I'd rather wash all the dishes in the world than load up one load.
Yeah.
I hate it so. And then you got to take it out.
Yeah, it's true, man.
I hate it.
Yeah, so there's little things, and they're not things, you're not looking for them to be breaking points in the relationship. But it's how do you fix these things before they become issues? Because what some people are good at as well, which you can't hide when you live with each other. So, for instance, your man's peed you off or your woman's peed you off. Do you know what? I'm putting you in timeout. I'm not talking to you for a couple of days. Where am I going when I live with you? We have 4 walls, so it's very hard to avoid each other. Eventually, we're going to have to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I might wake up vexed with my husband, but in 20 minutes, I'm going to have to tell him, oh, do you know what? Something with the internet or this or that or that or this. So the argument can't go on for long enough.
Do you know what's so funny? Have you ever been around a couple, yeah, and like, and like they're bickering about something, but it's not about what's just happened. Like, say like it's like something like, let's just say salt or something. But you can tell that this annoyance here, it followed you guys from your house and it's been stewed for a few days. That's true. Because I feel like even like little things like that, say like something like, say the messiness again, it might not be a big deal, but because you've got annoyance from a few other things, it's building up, and then that fork you didn't wash is now what's gonna break the camel's back.
Yeah, it's World War X.
Yeah,
it's World War X. You just got to think about how it was when you was younger and you're living with your parents or something like that, and you do something, yeah, and you're on tentative hooks. So that's just the same as what marriage is like. Because I can speak just like your friend. Nothing really changed about me and my husband being married. It was more for, to be honest, it was more for certain legal things why we did get married. But aside from that, nothing changed. We've been living together for almost 10 years. So we was all into this relationship.
Yeah. So what do you think they should do then? Do you think they should, for the way they said their values are and stuff like that, do you think it's worth them doing it or just go with their beliefs and get married.
I do, because if they're putting the Christian bit in there to say that they're not having sex, I would like to believe that their faith will still stop them from having sex. Because if they can resist not when they're not living together, then I don't see why it's going to be such a big issue once they do live together, if they can hold their faith. But I definitely think that they should get a lease together and commit into this thing. Because the worst thing, a lot of the time when you see marriages break down, and it is these kind of situations, it's not because they were going into it looking for the problems, but they did not know their partner at all. Yeah. So then, like you said, everything starts becoming heightened once you actually do get married, and everything piles up, and they don't know how to handle it, because as much as they know each other in this setting, they don't know each other. But then on the flip side, a lot of arranged marriages actually work out because, you know, they just have to figure out how to make it work. Yeah. So it's either or. If they could just put it in, but I'm an advocate for living with somebody.
Yeah, see, I fully agree with the whole arranged marriage thing where you just said, they just find a way. Like, if your mentality is to go in and there would never be an end, then there will never be an end. But also, I was going to say to you, Ebony, what was I going to say? Yeah, you said that when people then live together, sometimes, obviously, find out certain things and then they break up or whatever. Could it be that sometimes people see red flags before they get married, ignore them, hope for the best, but then, because they're together, and all you now see is the red flags, red wallpaper, red everything now. You now feel like, you know what, this is enough. I can't take it now. But before, you could go back to your house. You know what I'm saying? You can go and do certain things, but not really that you found out something new. It's just that it's now heightened. You ignored it before. You didn't deal with it before.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think it's like how I feel about prenups, because people have two different sides of it. Some people think, well, if you're going to sign a prenup, then you're anticipating that marriage is going to end. But then it's like me, it's like if you've got health insurance or something like that, you're not anticipating that you're going to ever have a major issue why you need health insurance, but it is just protecting yourself in the worst case scenario. But in terms of the red flag situation, I think a lot of people do ignore things. I think social media plays a big part on things. And then that's why whenever you see, like, for instance, these celebrities break up and did one of the number one things that you hear is there was domestic violence of some sort. Sorry, trigger warning. But it's like, well, last week when you lot was just throwing up those pictures, everything was happy and la-di-da-di-da and everything like that. So I think a lot of people like to do the facade of a relationship and they don't want to work on what a real relationship is. Because a real relationship, seldom do me and my husband post pictures with each other. Not to say that we don't, because most of the time when I do post, it's probably a picture with my family or whatever. So I do post him, but it's not an everyday thing. I don't have to prove what we're doing day to day and whatever, or, oh, look what he just bought me or whatever, because in the real world, life's. And things are going to happen and things are going to be out of your control that, you know, what do you do when the chips fall? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
When your back is against the wall, that is when you really need to put in the work. But most people don't go into it with putting in the work. And even though, some people do premarital counselling, but that's usually offered through their church or something like that. So it's not really impartial what they're going into. It's kind of, you're going to do this according to the book. The pastor normally knows them because it's the church that they go to anyway, or anything. So they're just there taking that advice of, oh, you know, if things go wrong, you pray. You know, if things go wrong, come and talk to me or the head lady of the church or whatever, and and that's kind of as far as it goes. But they're not giving practical solutions of, okay, what do you need? It's taken my husband many years to realise when I'm angry, I don't want to talk. Leave me alone, let me calm down, and then we'll go back into it. Whereas he wants to talk. So a lot of the time there's an impasse when we're upset with each other. But we've now had to realise, he'll realise, okay, you know what, in the heat of the moment, give her 2 hours, then we can go into the conversation. 2 hours still isn't long enough for me, but it's still enough time that I've cooled down, that cooler heads can prevail in that situation. So that's our compromise and things like that.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that,
Thanks,
Ebony, as always.
No worries. But yeah, that's all I wanted to weigh in. You guys have a good rest of the day.
And you too, hon. Thank you.
All right. Take care. All right. Bye.
Marlon's question for Brent. can I ask you, with everything that's recorded in your studio, like 3 shots, no behavior, TDA, etc., are you always in the studio whilst they're recording? I ask that because do you ever, as a producer, overhear some bad things being said on a pod and feel the urge to jump in and or correct people if they might say problematic things around you? Or do you just let people go on with it even if you're not originally credited to be part of the show? So for example, has any guest said something problematic whilst you're minding your business and then you jumped in?
Couple of questions in there. 1, no, I'm not in the studio for all of the sessions. 2, have I ever jumped into any sessions when I've heard somebody say something problematic? I don't make it a rule to do that at all because I'm providing a service. However, if it's family, for example, no behavior, or 3 shots, and the thing that the guest has actually shared isn't contested, I have been known to jump in. The first time I've ever done that was on Meters After 7, when they had somebody from Backchat on, and he was talking about him being an alpha male or something like that. And I guess that was my my first introduction to being on the mic. And recently, when I say recently, maybe a year ago, I think Image God was invited on to No Behavior, and he was talking about why he does the things he does, and I jumped on their pod then too. But I don't make it a habit, no. It's not my business.
Word.
I hope that answers your question, sir.
Okay. Do you ever tell people, like, if you don't jump, obviously you wouldn't interrupt their recording, but when they're done, do you say you might want to take that part? Outside of people that...
I don't do it that often to be doing that. And with Meters After 7, I was shocked with what I was hearing, and I turned around and I was invited on.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Obviously, I had been having conversations with Yusuf and Gina before that particular episode. So I guess they knew that my particular point of view was a bit different than what was being shared by them. So they were waiting for the moment for me to basically look to present myself to say, all right, cool, I'm willing to talk now. You know? Plus I have an accent, and they were at the time thinking about entertainment, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But with No Behavior, at this point, I'm in a lot of the sessions because I'm editing something else. Right? And I'm always called, like I'm mentioned. So I don't want to be disrespectful and say, stop.
I'm busy.
Yeah. Sometimes when it is I want to leave that message, I leave the room.
Okay.
So you can't call me. If I'm not there, you can't call me. But what he was saying at the time was a bit wild.
He gets cooked for that. Enough, man. He gets cooked.
Anywho,
I feel like doing TDA has been interesting in terms of like saying, quote unquote, saying the right things, not saying the right things, and whatever. Because we're live once it's gone out. That's it.
Yeah.
Is someone on Discord?
No, but I just heard something.
I wrote a message in the Discord.
Okay.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. All right, let's get into our last. Oh, thank you guys for writing in.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all. Thanks for always trusting us with your life issues. It is greatly appreciated. So let's get into our last headlines.
All right, people. So, according to reports, executives working for Elon Musk have been advised not to seek a higher security clearance for him due to concerns about his drug use and contact with foreign nationals. So, lawyers at Musk's rocket launch company, SpaceX, had warned senior executives that applying to upgrade his access would force him to answer awkward questions and even put his existing clearance at risk. This is what the Wall Street Journal reported. So since 2022, Musk has enjoyed a top secret security clearance, which is the highest general purpose permission bestowed by the US Department of Defense. But it does not include special need to know clearances for specific projects known as sensitive compartmented information. The decision reportedly means that Musk must be kept in the dark about some of the payloads that SpaceX puts in orbit, which are said to include US military and intelligence agency satellites. The security clearances are sometimes granted to people who had previously used drugs illegally, but those with clearances are generally required to stay drug-free after receiving them. Next headline, and United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear TikTok's bid to block a law that would ban or compel the sale of the video platform over its links to China. So the top justices signaled on Wednesday that they are willing to reconsider a decision by a lower court that upheld the law, but they stopped short of issuing an injunction to immediately suspend the US government's effort to block TikTok. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments in this case, on January 10th, 9 days before the government's deadline to impose the ban. Remember yesterday I was talking about them wanting to push back the ban so that they have time for Trump to get into power, hoping that Trump can maybe change things, because obviously he's pretty much against the ban. The US President Joe Biden approved the law, dubbed the Foreign Advisory Controlled Applications Act, that's what it's called, in April after years of proclaimed concerns that the popular social media app may be used to steal Americans' data and manipulate public opinions. At the core of the case is determining whether banning TikTok is a violation of free speech rights granted by the First Amendment of the US Constitution. The government argues that the ban falls under legitimate regulations of foreign-owned companies. And our last headline, trigger warning on this one, and in the latest blow to the LGBTQ community in Africa, Ghana's top court has dismissed 2 cases challenging the constitutionality of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. So the rule paves the way for the president to sign into law what is one of the continent's most restrictive pieces of anti-LGBTQ legislation. All 7 judges on the Supreme Court panel ended separate petitions against it, filed by broadcast journalist and lawyer.
Journalist.
And lawyer Richard Delasky and the academic Amanda Odoye. The bill, which has been condemned by the United Nations and human rights groups, was passed earlier this year by Ghanaian lawmakers. If signed into law, it will impose 3 years in prison for people identifying as LGBT and 5 years for forming or funding LGBT groups. The president, Nana Akufo-Addo, whose term in office ends on the 7th of January, had delayed signing it pending the outcome of the Supreme Court challenge. But the judges said that the case could not be reviewed until it had been signed into law. So we'll see what happens, guys. But that's it for the headlines. Time to pay them bills.
Wonderful. Let's get into reaction.
All right, people, welcome to the reaction. There was some games yesterday. Some amazing football, Esther. Women's Champions League, man. The women were playing football.
Women in sports. Love that for them.
Yeah, man.
Pay the girls some monies.
Yes. It's good for them.
More monies.
Depends.
Whether they're shit or not.
If the people watch
Do the
it.
shit men get paid money?
Unfortunately, yeah, man. Because it's not just them playing. They're playing amongst other good people too.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? People still patronize.
Exactly. So then the women who are not great will be playing amongst other great women who are good at football.
Yeah, but the overall average
I should have been a female footballer. I should have been a female footballer on flipping TDA. Oh. I mean, it's insufferable. I think I'm bad now. No justice, no peace.
Yeah, man. There were games yesterday in Group C and Group D. Arsenal, they beat Bayern Munich women.
I'm female Arsenal.
Yeah. Solid team, you know. Solid.
Oh my God, so all the teams that for men, they have women's versions.
Pretty much, yeah. Most of them, I think. The big clubs.
So then, and in the big clubs, they don't get paid that much.
I think they get paid good, but not nowhere near what the men get.
But at least like
they get paid good. Yeah,
I would say like 3/4.
3/4 of it or 3/4 less.
So if a man gets paid like a million, I think the woman should get 750.
No, we can't do that.
What again? It says 250.
Hopefully, or less.
Are you a sicko? Where'd you hear that?
No, I'm looking to see if it is that he has Wingate on this. On these polls.
No, that was last year, you know. I think that was last year, bro. Yeah.
Wingate was last year?
Yeah, man.
I can't believe you said that so casually, but it's I'm used
trying to get you, that's right.
No, but you can't get me anymore. I'll be honest with you, it was in this moment right now that There's nothing you could ever do anymore that surprises me because my reaction time was so calm, but then there was a voice in my head. I was like, "Are you gonna react like that?" I was like, "Yeah, because that's what I expect." Like I literally just had a quick dialogue with myself, like, "Oh, no, it's fine. This is what he does."
Big up the women, man.
It's like my mom and I were talking about Kevin Badenoch the other day, and I was like, "Oh, E-man, that egg." She didn't even met you there. I think he was supporting her and whatnot. The whole thing.
Yeah, man. We need more Yoruba representation. Oh. Big up Kemi, big up Esther.
Don't ever put my name. Don't you ever put my name in the same sense as that woman. Impossible. I wanted to come on TDA.
Hey, I would be so happy.
City girl.
So happy. Come on, Miss Badenoch.
No, do you know what annoyed me? I'm so sorry. I'm here now. When Shea Bro posted it, I go on the Shea Bro. I like to see the comments sometimes. I see Emmanuel. This one doesn't use social media, you know. And I saw him in the comment, and then what killed me was I forgot to message you about it. Some girl wants to cuss her braids. E-man is like, "Do you think that's the?" I said, "No."
Yeah, I said, "Oh, come on, that's not necessary."
No, it's necessary.
Why do you have to cuss the woman's braids?
They're dusty.
That's not nice. Though.
It's facts.
She's not spoken about nobody's your parents.
It's facts. She can't.
Oh, God damn it.
I said she can't because she's a leader of a party. That's not a nice look for her. Yeah, but I'm not a leader of any parties, so I can.
The woman was like, "Oh, that's the braids I used to get when I was a kid. Cost my mom £25." I was like, "Come on, man."
But you know what it is, though? There is a link between... Fight me, yo, I know you like to tussle. There is a link, though, between some black women who go for white men and their hair. And how it looks. There's a white man wig.
So what you're saying is they're going for the cheaper hair hats.
I just say it's hats. If you want to get a white man, there's a starter pack. And it starts with the kind of wig.
Kevin doesn't wear no wigs.
It starts with the kind of hair you have.
All right. Big up, Kemi. You're welcome on TDA.
You are, absolutely.
It'll be a great day, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I will move mountains to make sure I'm here, sis. Don't worry. Auntie.
But yes.
Women playing football.
Yes.
Well done to them.
Arsenal won, man. Solid team. They beat Bayern Munich 3-2 at home.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, the girls are fighting back, boy.
Mm-hmm.
If that was the men, it would have been 3-0. So big up the women. Women in sports, in male-dominated fields.
To be fair, in the next game, Juventus beat Valerenga 3-0. So.
Them out. It would have been the same results if it was the men anyway. Big up the girls.
All right. Well, the other game, Barcelona beat Man City 3-0. It was another 3-0. So.
I told you, this sounds like when we read the men's sports. I've read a 5-0 for men before.
That is true.
I'm sure I've even read 8-something.
That is also
8-1.
Yes.
So this...
That is true.
This is not doing what you think it is. This is great. Big up the girls.
And the other game was St. Poyton women. They lost at home to Hammarby women 2-1 as well. Also, there's some Carabao Cup games as well. Arsenal beat Crystal Palace 3-2. Newcastle beat Brentford 3-1. And Liverpool beat Southampton 2-1. There's going to be a Carabao Cup game today, and that is between Tottenham and Man United. That's going to be at 8 p.m, guys. So, is not behavior recording today, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why you say like that? Are you upset? Yeah. Yeah. It's what it takes. Just look forward.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
TDA, man.
That's pretty much it for the reaction, man.
All right, let's wrap this up.
Precisely.
Diabolical. All right, people, it's been a fantastic day.
It has been a great day.
You know what I mean? Today, obviously, you guys were speaking about Sally and Margs and myself and Brent's views of camera and whatnot. Then we had to bring it back to the camera, and we heard the Honourable Minister Louis Farrakhan speak in the intro. We also heard about Mr. David Lammy, man, the Foreign Secretary, who has now condemned the Kremlin's gangster threat against the Times. Why? Because the Times defended Ukraine's assassination of a senior Russian general in Moscow. We spoke about the link up between Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, basically saying, look, we must stand together with Ukraine. We spoke about the police who say that they can now seize more than £2 million from Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate because they ain't been paying their taxes. For topic of the day, we spoke about tracked and taxed. Basically, the real cost of a cashless society. Are you guys ready for this? Are you guys ready to take on the mark of the beast? And trigger warning on this one as well, guys.
We didn't talk about the beast once.
Well, actually.
Except when Fonz did.
We also spoke about the unfortunate killing of the Croydon schoolgirl, Elianne Andam, and basically how that maniac who killed her, he's basically pleaded not guilty to murder, but guilty to manslaughter. And he's basically saying he just wasn't in control of himself, and he put it down to his autism. We also heard about the Greenwich criminology student who was found guilty of killing a woman in Bournemouth on the beach and severely injuring her friend, Leanne Miles, as well. And we spoke about the new project which is launched in London to help migrants securely report abuse without it going to the Home Office. We had some good asking for friends, big up the couple, the Ghanaian couple, the Christian couple.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You guys are going to do well, man. Don't fold. You'll be all right. And of course, we spoke about Elon Musk, man, and apparently how his drug use, was previous drug use or still present current drug use, has stopped him from getting higher security clearance as well. We also spoke about TikTok and how the United States Supreme Court has agreed to hear their bid to block a law which has been put on them by the Biden administration. And we spoke about Ghana's top court dismissing the challenge to the anti-LGBT bill. And that's pretty much it, I believe.
All right. It's been a great day. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you every single person that called up on the Discord today. We had Ebony, we had Saleh, we had Fonz. I don't know if I said that like there was more. That was it, right? Yeah. So big up all of you guys. Thank you very much. Everyone in the chat as well. Big up yourselves. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on our socials as well. The day after TNB, we are on Discord. That is a lot of conversation happens on there actually. So if you want to get your best yapping lifestyle on, go on there. Also, Iman put up a poll for our best guests, our best this, the best that, best awards. Basically.
A lot of polls.
Best in best is all up in there. So if you want to have a say, vote, go on, join us on Discord the day after TNB, and we are also on Instagram, on X, and on the Clock app, TikTok.
Just want to read out Ed's comment. He basically said, look, if it's getting long to scroll, he's pinned all the polls. So big up Ed.
Big up Ed as well.
He's pinned all the polls.
Y'all better vote for him now.
Go to the pinned messages icon on the desktop or the pins tab on your mobile, and you can find them and you can vote. Guys, we need the votes.
We do
At
need
the
the
moment, like your favorite TDA moment, according to the Discord, has been Saleh versus black women, man. The racism definition.
I can't believe Saleh came at the end of the year and is out here about to win a moment. Is that because people don't remember the other moments?
Maybe.
What else? So do you have what else is in that category?
Yeah, there's loads, man. So basically,
what's that name? What's the gate?
Sankara Gate?
Sankara Gate. Was that this year?
No, last year. That's last
Are
year.
you sure?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
What?
It was not.
It was last year, man.
No, it's in the categories. Just go and check, people. Go and check.
Good.
Go verify.
I'm going to vote for that
What's
5
about-
times.
What category? Which category is that? Okay. It's there.
Go and vote for that.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
Vote, guys. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff there. Best guest. At the moment, Daryl Blake's leading. Best guest. Best
Do you know what? I'll
guest.
be honest with you. If anybody else had won that, I would have taken a strike. And I promise you that strike will start when I get back from Lagos. Don't you think? Absolutely. Big up Daryl Blake. Every single flipping time. That man is a living legend.
100%.
Living legend.
Yes.
Nice,
So vote,
alright.
people. Vote.
Please do. Please do. And your favorite callers as well. We've had
Yes.
a lot of people from the community call up actually. That's been really, really fun.
At the moment, I think Stacey's in the lead.
Stacey.
Might be joint with Bathroom Diaries.
Nah, Stacey's got to get it.
Yeah. So I think
Stacey's our American correspondent.
Yeah, I think top 3 is Stacey, Bathroom Diaries, and Black RHOP. So if you guys disagree, vote. You know what I'm saying? There's some other options there as well. Saleh is there. Saleh is coming up as well.
Yeah, Saleh can't win 2 guys. Guys, that's way too much. He's going to be in guest host as well.
Yes, exactly.
Saleh's not about to clear this place up with 6 grams like his Beyonce. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. But yeah, guys, please vote. Stacey said, is this an actual poll? Yes, it is. It's not working for me.
Damn it.
Oh my gosh. Fanan, because Fanan said Shayla and Sankara historical moments. Was Shayla this year? I'm not listening to you anymore. 'Cause I don't know what. It wasn't this year. Damn. She would have won by a landslide.
Yeah, 100%.
But never mind. She would have got 7 votes. Not the votes of the scorned. Anyway. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Peace.